Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SpawnCast, episode 313. We have a special returning member of the SpawnCast tonight. Miss Click is back.
Pyro! What up, guys? Hi! Hello, I've missed everyone.
It's good to have Miss Click back. People have been asking when you're coming back, so it's good.
Yeah.
Good to have
like you had
here.
anything important to do.
Excited in the chat, I'm sure. Miss Click's been very busy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, seriously, John did it, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No problem. Click.
That was me, just me.
Lazy ass.
Don't.
It was cool when they do it.
It's good to have Click back. It's good to have. How's everything been, Click?
Good, it's been a lot, but we're doing much better now. So I've missed talking about all the trivial things with you guys. So thanks for having me back.
Good to have Click here. Good to have Click here. We also have Josie, who is basically a member of the SpawnCast now, joining us again tonight. How are we doing, Josie?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on again. I appreciate it.
You had a new video actually went out earlier. Was it this morning or last night?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
I saw that video. I have some words about that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not mad. Actually, I actually really
feathers.
no. I really actually liked the video you put together because it's I thought your take was good. I only feel like you probably should have scored it a little higher, and you didn't talk about the music, which is one of the best parts of the game.
That's what I got a lot of comments about that, but I forgot. It was.
I watched it. It was trash.
See what?
Damn. Dang.
I'm joking. I like the video. I like it.
Tackled Super Metroid.
Yeah, no, I'm a big
ready
Super
for the
Metroid
feedback from it. So
it's interesting perspective because a lot of people who probably watch that grew up with it. So I think it's interesting to see people playing it for the first time now, just to kind of give, especially since you played Metroid Dread first and then you played Super Metroid.
Yeah, that's the
why
problem.
I made it, because I thought it'd be like interesting to have a different perspective like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people appreciated it.
No, Dread's better. Overall, Dread's better. Like, you can't even freaking wall flip. Like, who can you wall flip in Super Metroid? It's so difficult.
That's what I talked about, and all my comments were like, "Get good," and I was like, "My bad."
No.
Come on, OJ. Let's be serious. Super Metroid is better than Dread. Dread's a great game, but it's not.
It's not.
Dread is better.
Dread is better. Dread's ending crushes Super Metroid's ending. Like, it crushes it.
The music alone in Super just destroys Dread.
I agree. The music is better in Super Metroid. I agree.
Okay. Well, good video. Make sure you guys check it out.
Thank you.
Over on her channel. We also have Jordan. Jordan's back with us tonight too.
Hi, I'm back. I was here last week. I'm back this week. That's 2 weeks. That's a new record. It's been a while. We're here. Look,
going for the high score.
This place is.
Jordan was here last week.
There's so many people here now.
Just missing Nate.
Yeah.
Where's Nate?
He's been kind of sick. Like, so he's having a hard time the past like week or so, but sometimes he just randomly pops in, so I don't know, maybe he'll just show up halfway through.
I find it hard to believe that Nate gets sick. I feel like if the virus walked up to him, he'd be like, fuck off and go suck a hot wiener. And then whatever. Okay. Feel better, Nate?
Got Max Dreamcast guy here.
Yo.
10 times so far through Resident Evil 4?
Yeah, I have now beaten Resident Evil 4 10 times. I have to take a break, I'll be honest. I sped run it multiple times. Yes, I beat it 10 times. You need to do like 6 playthroughs for the platinum, but I also beat it 4 times on Xbox. I'm ready to take a break. I've done everything.
Done with it. Okay.
Damn.
Okay, fair enough. We have Sean RGT here, despite the Almond's best efforts.
I'm just not gonna eat after like 9 o'clock anymore.
You got fruit and almonds working against you.
Well, I don't know. Like I felt nauseous this morning, and then I drank some Pepto, and I was like, nope. And I just threw up the Pepto in a bunch of water, and I was like, okay.
All right. So no food after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I ate 3 pieces of bread and some applesauce today. It's been great.
Wow. All right. We got OJ here, Player Essence, holding up the pre-show.
Yeah, dude in the retirement home already, bro. I feel bad for you. I'm all right, man. Thanks for having me. I've only beat Resident Evil 4 twice, so I'm definitely lagging behind Dreamcast guy. So I'm here.
Yeah, we got MVG.
Hello.
with us.
I'm doing well. I've beaten Resident Evil 4 times, and I think I'm about done with the game for now. It's fantastic.
Okay.
I've played it enough now.
Okay, had to have you on because of the we got the emulation stuff, of course, to go over, and the center of that with your videos.
Did you not play the mercenary stuff?
I may dip into it. I know we're going to talk about it later, but I may take a look at the mercenary stuff. I'm just kind of waiting for the VR patch, I think, for now.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. And then we got Evan. Evan's here.
Yep.
Good to have Evan here. Okay. We as I mentioned, we do actually had more than I was thinking as we got through the week as stuff started to happen like midway through. We do, of course, have the Super Mario movie to talk about. I don't know how many people here saw it. Let's see. OJ saw it.
Yep.
I'm gonna assume Jordan did actually. I'm just gonna assume. Big movie go over there, Jordan.
Yeah, I saw it.
French. Okay,
Did you
good,
say it was
good.
cute?
Yeah, that was my review. I said, hey, Mario movie. It's cute.
Okay,
Cute.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I saw it. OJ saw it. Jordan saw it. I don't know if anyone else saw it. Josie saw it. Awesome, awesome. All right, cool. So we
I
got
will
enough
next
people.
week.
Go over.
Next
okay.
week.
Awesome. So we're gonna be discussing that. Also, again, the Xbox emulation stuff with MVG over here. I also wanted to get into some of the Xbox Square Enix stuff that came up, especially after the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. But then we had a article from Windows Central and that
MVG, you bastard! You don't know what you're talking about.
MVG's under
MVG.
fire. He might be banned from Reddit twice now. I don't know.
Come at me.
Slap me, bro.
Come at me.
And we got some of the stuff around, or the rumors now around Sony and their very weird sounding emulator. But is it real? I don't know. We'll discuss that too. And we also have a sponsor tonight. That's Factor. Factor been with us for a while. Shout out to Factor. I'll get more into that later on. Evan, you want to start us with the Discord question?
How hard is it really for a company in any media to credit all their employees or any original sources that were involved with a project or notable through the years?
Not hard at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on with this, MVG? I saw there was some talk about the DK rap that was in the Super Mario movie, and Grant Kirkhope wasn't credited for that. And we
cool,
see Metroid Prime, that remaster where they just put the credit as the original team.
Yep, just
those guys.
People.
It kind of felt like seeing the article or people talking about it. It kind of feels like, like when you're doing like a report in like middle school or high school or something, and like you have to like do like the credits. What do they call it? Like at the end of your report, like
source.
Yeah, where you're having to say everything, and it's like from Wikipedia or like from information.com.
Hey, you guys
and then
can use Wikipedia.
you can't do
The
that.
internet.
We were not allowed to.
I was not allowed to use Wikipedia. I would have used that shit all the time.
That's literally what it felt like seeing those credit screenshots.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Citations, yes, thank you.
No, you said it felt like it was like Wikipedia. They're like, oh, just this, like. Yeah.
You think there's a reason, MVG, as to why this keeps happening? This happened more. It's been more and more recent, right? Like I've been seeing it come up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's different reasons. I don't think there's one overarching reason as to why. I think different studios, different companies have their own rules about it. Like I hear stories about if you haven't worked at the company for more than 6 months, you don't get a credit. I've heard stories about contract positions. No matter what they're doing, they don't get credits. I mean, in the case of Grant Kirkhope and David Wise, I mean, I can only assume it was an oversight, but like even that is a little strange to me because obviously those guys, did amazing work back in the day, and they're very, very well known. So I don't really know, John, what the overarching answer is. I think different companies have different rules about crediting people in their own way, but I don't really feel like there's any harm in just going back and just crediting everyone that was involved, whether it was the original piece of work or if it's a remake or whatever it is, or a movie based on a game or something.
Right. Okay. All right.
But
so let's
go on, Sean. I know you hate.
Sean.
I know you hate my take, so let me have it.
No, you're fine. It's just it seems to me that people are making it a bigger deal than they like. Does anyone really care? Do you sit there and read through the credits of every game that you beat? Because I sure
no,
as fuck
but
don't.
I mean,
I like to skip past them. Like I get why the people involved can be upset, but all this other commotion around it just seems to be getting angry just for the sake of getting angry.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, but I mean, when you got Grant Kirkhope basically
On
tweeting
Twitter.
saying, "Yo, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal.
Well, there also
Yeah.
have been cases in the last 2 years. It keeps popping up, thankfully, since we have the age of social media. But there's been times where they like worked on a game for 3 years. It took 5 years to make, so they left the team 2 years before launch. It came out and they're not in the credits. And then they try and get the next job and they're not accredited, and it actually makes it harder to find their next job. So I think that's part of the reason people are defending. It says you do see those posts where it's like, hey, I made Uncharted: The Lost Legacy collection, and now I am not in there, so it's hard to even claim this credit. So it's hard to get that pay boost to the next job. Minor stuff like that.
Okay,
that
makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's wouldn't they just contact the HR person and be like, did this person work at this company?
They can, but it's definitely, and it does still work, but people in the industry have spoken about the fact that if you're in like 10 unaccredited projects, it makes your whole portfolio look more weird than when you can point at, here's my body of work, I made those trees, these squeal marks in Forza are because of me. Like when you're unaccredited, it feels weird that you're unaccredited. It makes it like more minimalization of all the work you're doing.
Okay. Let's actually get into the first topic here. We're just gonna go right for this Sony handheld, like immediately, because this people got real excited for a minute and then it got real disappointed right away, because this is coming from Tom Henderson, who seems to have the report on all the Sony hardware. Who's noticed this? You're talking about a PS5 Slim with attachable disk drive, a PS5 Pro, and now what's codenamed the Q Lite. It's a PlayStation handheld that is going to focus around remote play for the PS5, as in you need a PS5 for this thing to have any kind of real functionality for you. So it's going to stream, I assume, over Wi-Fi, but they do mention the need for internet. I don't know if they necessarily mean it needs to check in with Sony as it's doing this, or if you just have everything connected on Wi-Fi, it can run through your local network. But 8-inch screen, 1080p 60 FPS, what they're shooting for, and it's basically going to look like a tablet with a half of a DualSense on each side. So a DualSense with a big screen in the middle. And that's kind of all the information we have, other than it's going to come out before the PS5 Pro. They're saying a PS5 Pro end of 2024 holiday. So I know we'll discuss the idea of this actually being a thing after getting into the idea of this existing in the first place, because I feel like a lot of people wanted a Vita too when this cropped up for the first time. Is anyone interested in a remote play device? And if so, what's the price got to be?
But why would people be excited for a Vita 2 when you saw how Sony treated the Vita as far as a platform? Like, I don't understand where the confidence in Sony producing a handheld. Like, I love the PSP, I love the Vita, but the PSP definitely had a stronger shot at success than the Vita did, because Sony just kind of abandoned it like pretty quickly, and it was, it ended up becoming more of a niche JRPG machine towards the end of its life, trying to make it work. So that's kind of first and foremost to me, is like, I'll say JRPG, fuck people. To me, I would be, if this was a dedicated Sony handheld, I would be leery regardless of anything. But the fact that it's this weird sort of thing, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird, man.
I mean, we did buy PSVR too.
Hey,
Sean and I.
Yeah.
A write-off though.
The internet says everything's hype, and then the sales numbers come on. It's like, oh shit. Well,
But
I thought it was gonna buy it.
I 95% agree with Sean, and I did a video talking about this, in that I think this is an interesting idea of a system, because my biggest concern is when Sony splits stuff up. Sony development cycles already seem so long, so if they were going to have a mobile division making handheld games and first-party big stuff, I feel like it would mean even bigger gaps between games. I like the idea of it streaming a PlayStation 5 onto a tablet, but they already have remote play. The weirdest part of it, though, is that it does sound like it's local network only, as you said, John. Like, it sounds like it's something where, like, in your house, if somebody's playing on the TV.
It just sounds like a Wii U a little bit.
Yes, it does sound like a Wii U. And man, I would buy it because I do game around the house, and I'm not completely opposed to the idea, but it'd have to be under $200. If this thing costs like $300 for a tablet, no way.
I mean, how much was the PSVR?
$700.
Well, it's $550 or $600.
This thing is over like $150. Like,
well, how much was the Logitech G Cloud? That was $300 when it hit, right?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, now it's down to $250, I think, but that was technically an Android tablet as well. Like, it had that entire OS that you could use, so it wasn't necessarily you turn it on and it only contacts your PS5. There was at least added functionality.
You can run emulators and shit on there. I got friends that do that.
I'm guessing it'll be $199. That's what I'm guessing. This thing's going to be $199, and it's going to work like, if it worked like a Wii U, that'd be good. right? Because the Wii U had pretty good. If you're close to it, it was pretty much instant. There wasn't really any lag or anything like that.
I don't think we're insulting the Wii U. Like, I like my Wii
I'm
U.
not.
I think a lot of people, seriously, even if they didn't have one, like just roasted the heck out of a Wii U. So the fact that it's like a Sony form of a Wii U and people be like, oh, what? It's
an add-on, right? Yeah, it's an add-on, so it's not required, so it's an add-on.
It has to be hooked up to the internet too. You guys were saying like it always has to have constant...
It mentions in the article that it would need internet connection to function. Yeah, so
it would need it because it needs to check if you own the game, right? Like if you're going to download, it needs
streaming from.
Yeah.
Well,
the
thing that's weird about
it has
this
to pull
is
from your console.
You can already do this with your phone, a tablet. You can actually. People don't know this. You can do this with your PC. It can remote play from your PlayStation. You actually plug in a DualSense controller and you can use a PS4 controller for PS5 only games, by the way, through it. So that's the weird thing to me. The only thing I can figure here is they're thinking, one, we have our own hardware that can help push the PS5 by doing an add-on to it, I guess, and two, we know that it's going to have all the default controls from the DualSense attached to this thing, so it will have that functionality. But Josie, you were shaking your head at this remote play thing.
It feels pretty pointless to me because we already have like a phone to do that, like you were saying. And then if we're going to pay for this thing and there's not even going to be like specific games for it, like it's just going to be games that you would be playing on a better screen on your TV at home, which you are already at because it has to be connected to Wi-Fi. I just feel like there's almost no point. And like maybe to like super hardcore Sony people, like that's something that they want. But people like on the outside are just going to see no value in it. It's going to turn out to be what the Wii U was and just fail.
Well, if you could choose games, right? Like you get approved that you own this game and then you could take it with you. You could play it on the go. Like it's saved like onto the device and then you don't need to be in your home to play it. I could see a little bit more because then that's like a Sony Switch. You know what I mean? But if it's something that you always have to be within a certain proximity or always within a certain network, And then, I mean, even if you wanted to do like the 5G, you're still gonna be paying for like service charges and subscriptions and stuff like that. And that's a whole other mess too. So it's like, I think I understand why they're doing it though, is because they still want people to buy the PS. They don't want to like have you choose between. Like this way makes it sound like, well, you still need a PlayStation. So there's no either or. It's kind of, you have the PlayStation or you don't get anything else. So business wise, if they feel like it's viable, that's fine. I don't know.
Well, part of the weirdness of it is that we all remember the PlayStation TV or the PS Vita TV, where Sony got this idea. It was a little teeny tiny box, like the size of a slice of bread, and you'd plug it into a TV and connect it to your network. It would turn on your PlayStation 4 and mirror the image. So you could have a PlayStation 4 upstairs and play it downstairs. And it actually worked pretty good, but it was a total failure. Best Buy was actually giving them away. They just literally could not sell them. I got one for free and played it quite a bit. And so it's weird that they're trying that again with the next generation, but now with a little screen. I'm curious. I kind of hope this is real, but to me, it seems kind of outlandish.
The buy-in to it is also super expensive because if you if you don't have a PS5 already, you got to get the PS5, then you got to get this thing on top of it. So I just don't think it's viable.
We'll see. And that's part of that's a good point. And I feel like that's part of Tom Henderson's other reporting is that the PlayStation 5 Slim is going to be maybe $100 cheaper, like $400. I think maybe that's part of what Sony's plan is sell this cheaper PlayStation 5 with an external drive you can plug in if you want for disc games. Maybe that'll incentivize people to buy PSVR 2 or this weird tablet. It's a weird, they're trying to do the Switch thing a little bit, it feels like, which is the Switch family of systems. I feel like they're trying to have the PlayStation 5 family of gadgets.
But the difference between it is you don't need one to access all.
True. Yeah, well, that every Switch is completely freestanding for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
The interesting thing is mobile technology has come a long way since the Switch even launched. And I almost wonder if in 5 or 6 years, Sony could legitimately just make a handheld that plays the PS5 or PS6 games, just not as high resolution frame rate, any of that. It'll be cut down, but that's the only way I'd approach it if I was them. I would not try to stand up another hardware platform like they did with the Vita, because Nintendo doesn't even do it anymore. So I don't know why Sony would all of a sudden think we can do it with our 8-year dev cycles, but
it's all bullshit, man. This isn't real. Tom Henderson, I think you're a nice enough guy, but whoever's feeding you these bullshit stories, They're just making fun of you, man. Like detachable DVD drive. Are you kidding me? You really think there's a PS5 or a PS Vita portable 2 thing, whatever it is, streaming device? Doesn't make any sense. PS5 Pro, it's not happening. So I think this is ridiculous, honestly.
Listen, he paid good money for that information, MVG.
Well,
Did he pay?
He probably needs to get a refund on that, because whoever's feeding him these stories at Sony is just laughing at this dude, because they're all made up. None of it's real.
I am a little curious as to it is, because usually like a story like this will come out and I'll notice, because I'm trying to keep up to date with a lot of this stuff day to day. Usually I'll then see, oh, this place has also been able to corroborate this story. I don't think I've seen that for any of this hardware stuff.
No one else has corroborated these stories. Like usually when there's a story about hardware, there's usually different sources that come and, like validate some information. We're not getting that with this at all. And even though it's, he wants the exclusive, and that's cool, and I respect the hustle, but no one else has come forward and said, yeah, this is a thing at all.
Oh,
and
wait
for
a
me,
second. Wait a second.
Go on.
Did not Jeffrey Grubb say he had heard something similar?
He was quoted in the article.
I don't know, but if he has,
now the plot thickens.
Okay.
Let's
All right,
see.
it's real now. It's
Thomas
real.
Jefferson
Let's go.
Grubb. Let's see.
Yeah, even the chat's saying Grubb did. Interesting.
Grubb just bandwagons. That's what he does. He just waits for something to happen, and then he's, oh yeah, and then if it doesn't work out, he's like, whoa, I wasn't the first one. It was somebody else. It wasn't my fault.
You got really nice hair.
Yeah, would you type Jeff Grubb into Twitter? The first two autocorrects or finishes are Twitter and haircut.
Apparently it's in the prototype QA phase right now, so it's even possible it doesn't get out of that if they determine it's not even viable for them to produce. I'm not really sure what Sony's doing right now with something like that, but the VR2 just seems to have its own problems currently anyway, so they might want to get that worked out first.
What's the problems, John? No games? What's the problem?
True. OJ.
Doesn't seem like it's selling the way they want it to.
Says who? You got any stats?
Good reputable Apple insider who seems to be mostly focused on
Apple insider. What does he know?
Oh, because Apple's gonna unveil their own headset, probably I think over the summer. And they're people saying that might be the last push for VR. If that doesn't work, VR in general might be in some trouble.
John, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, bro. I'm just saying.
All right, MVG. Well, hey, you know what? We'll see, because I think that they're mentioning that slim disk drive optional system is supposed to be out by this holiday.
Okay. Well, if that drops, then I'll eat my words. I mean, I'm already banned on the Gaming Leaks Reddit.
You are.
What else are you out?
That's a good ban to Twitter.
What did I miss?
It's a good ban. Damn right.
Hey, well, we just need Microsoft to announce Banjo, and then you're back in, right?
I don't want to talk about that. Let's move on.
I feel like there needs to be a statute of limitations on that, though. Because, like, if somebody says, "Oh, there's gonna be a Banjo game," and then like 10 years later it comes out, it's like that's what the fuck? Like, it's like saying,
it's like you guys with the Switch Pro.
It's gonna be a new Mario game. Hey,
Get him click.
Hey, talk to Wall Street, talk to Bloomberg. Don't talk to me.
Hey, even if you get something right, though, that people forget about it pretty quick. Remember when that one person took to YouTube and said that George R.R. Martin was going to work with Bandai Namco and FromSoft to make an open world Souls game?
Yeah, that was a fat L.
Those were the days.
Reset Eric came for you.
They came looking for me. a lot of apology DMs though. Shout out to Reset Eric for that. Let's Evan, we got a Discord question over there.
Yeah, and people are saying audio sync issue. It's Discord. There's nothing I can do about this, so we're just along for the ride. But just to make sure with this remote play thing, we're all pretty sure it's just dead on arrival, right? Like that's one of the questions.
It's all bullshit.
Hey, they're gonna sell at least one. Because I will buy it.
If it's real, it's going to be pretty much just the tiniest little thing. I think it's going to be a little tiny gimmick thing that they maybe even box together with a PS5.
If it's priced at 200 or less, I think they'll have a shot. If that thing comes out at 300 or more, it's over. It's just it's not even worth it. So, but the Backbone controller right now for your iPhone is $100.
Listen, if it's over 200, if it's
Whoa, Sony's already on. Oh wow.
So Sony out there.
Excuse the fuck me.
It's
What I was gonna say is, if it's over $200, it better be a fucking TV remote. Excuse me. I'm gonna go
Okay.
beat my freaking lights out.
Just leave it down. It's fine.
No, I cannot.
It's
probably a
chosen
fire
its
hazard.
path.
No.
Wow.
Triumphant return.
Evan, you have a Discord question over there?
What do you make of the internet theory that mainstream outlets are holding off Last of Us PC reviews as a favor to Naughty Dog?
Oh, I haven't even heard that one. I think some just legitimately can't play it.
And that's it. Some of them I follow a lot of the major reviewers for IG and GameSpot and stuff, and they have said that straight up the game is just so broken. And also, what a lot of the major websites have said is that right now, while they're rolling out hot fixes, in the like 4 days, 5 days it would take them to edit together one of their videos, it's going to be a different performance. So a lot of them have said once they come out with a couple of these planned hot fixes, then they'll drop a review.
4 or 5
What?
days to edit a video.
But why? But
I
hold
know.
up here. Hold up. Time out. Why are they waiting? Why don't they just review it like every other game gets
know.
reviewed with flaws?
I agree. That's why I drop my video, is because a lot of times what I do is I'll start a video with saying I'm reviewing the game as it currently is. I think they should drop a review in progress. I think 1,000,000%
say
they should.
Broken
Buyer
out of 10. You
beware.
can't play
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You should say like this is an unscored review because the game apparently is still in development. I 1,000,000% agree with people that they should. I don't think there's like a conspiracy. I think it's that these websites are just inept, don't like to edit
Nah,
reviews.
they're not inept when it comes to other stuff. Not all of a sudden they're inept when it comes to a Last of Us. They were on it with those movie reviews. They were on it with The Last of Us remastered on PS5. They were on it with everything else when it comes to The Last of Us. But now this, we gotta wait for some hot fixes.
There's a quote I love that says, "Do not blame on malice, which can be attributed to ignorance." And that's what I try to do. Is I assume that they're dumb and not that they're like trying.
All of a sudden they're ignorant.
Oh, I always said they're ignorant.
Magically ignorant. They were fine with everything else.
I'm glad they're not putting out videos. My video keeps getting great views because there's no videos by IGN or GameSpot, so I'll soak up all
That
those.
feels like something they should be like covering and warning people on, because that's not like a cheap game.
Yes, they haven't even covered the glitches or anything. So my video, I did a separate video talking about the glitches, and they're talking about the update, and all my videos been blown up about it because all the major websites are not talking about it for some reason. I think PC gamers talking about it and nobody else.
Okay, you have another Discord question, Evan?
Are we gonna go into the Super Mario movie next?
We
or-
are. We're about to go to that next.
Do you guys
Let's
think
go.
Super Mario Bros. Movie has the chance to surpass Warcraft and become the highest grossing video game movie?
How much did Warcraft do?
Yes.
Over $1 billion.
I think Super Mario movie is going to do over $1 billion.
Oh, it's $1 billion easily.
The Warcraft
not even a
movie
question.
sucked. Okay,
terrible,
I just wanna, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's obvious.
I liked
I
it.
just broke
It's-
my heart.
What did
It's
you like about it?
barely a movie. It's
As an
barely a
avid
movie.
WoW fan, I was offended.
It was so bad.
I read
As a
all
movie
the.
fan, I was offended.
I remember the behind the scenes. They were like, "Yeah, this is the easiest movie ever." They told us just stand there and read our lines. So when you watch the movie, they just stand there. And read their
I'm
lines.
seeing it right now. The worldwide box office for Warcraft, unless I'm mistaken, is $438 million.
Worldwide? No. Because China it made like something.
Yeah,
crazy
that
like-
was the big thing. Was it was
It only made
huge
its
in
money
China.
back.
Am I wrong?
Huge.
In China, it made so many hundreds of millions of dollars. I believe I read they actually CG'd a couple of extra scenes just for the Chinese DVD release.
Oh,
So I'm looking at this. There's different facts that are going around, John. I don't know which ones you have, but it says Stealth put up that it's the biggest worldwide launch for an animated film at projected 368 million. That's over Frozen 2, Lion King, Toy Story 4, and Incredibles.
Then that's just for right now. That's just
Yeah,
for the launch. This isn't like its final total from what it earns in theaters around the world.
It's not in Japan either, so it hasn't launched in
right,
Japan.
right.
So
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers.
Yeah,
and it says $438 million for Warcraft.
I'm seeing that number too. Yeah. Huh.
I mean, yeah, the Mario movie is going to come in at like there's estimates as
already
like
about to pass
300
that.
something million. Yeah.
Yeah. So worldwide,
wild.
it did that. That's the number it did worldwide, apparently, like for Warcraft. So yeah, comparing it to Warcraft, it's going to beat Warcraft probably 3 times what it earned. I'm guessing. I think about 1.2 billion.
Yep. I think you're right, Jordan. Yep.
Yeah.
I think right around there. And it's going to beat Illumination's other stuff like Despicable Me.
Oh,
It's a successful project.
Good,
But
easily.
the Super Mario movie, It's out. Came out this past week. I saw it in theaters. Jordan saw it. Josie saw it. OJ saw it.
Saw it in IMAX with my wife. It was good.
Yes.
I saw it in Dolby Digital.
I went to that Newark theater, Evan. First time going there since
Oh,
Spider-Man
the one by me. The new
Spider-Man
one?
2. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, they redid it and everything in
Wait,
there. And
John,
it's pretty nice.
you said it was the first time going since Spider-Man 2?
For the Newark, the Newark one.
Oh,
that was
okay,
before
yeah.
they redid it because they renovated it. So it's been 20 years since I've been there.
Yeah.
And it's very nice now. There's like other theaters around me that I'd go to. That one in particular, I was like, let's check this one out because they had it in Auditorium 1, which is like massive.
Yeah, they do half.
You're like 5 feet from everyone around you. It's crazy.
They do half off on Tuesday, just so you know. It's good.
That's how they got me. Yeah.
It was the first time that I've ever went to a movie theater in like a decade plus. The last time I went I was like in college. With the worst.
Away.
I forgot what movie I watched though. I haven't been in a movie theater in more than a decade.
Do you remember what year? What time of year?
Yeah, it was when I went.
Yeah, your last time.
It was spring 2010. Spring 2010.
Spring 2010.
Yeah.
Hangled.
Interesting.
No, I saw some. I don't want to get into it, but
You saw some what?
Huh?
You saw what?
I saw this. I forgot it was this movie, but I don't remember. It had Janet Jackson in it, but I don't remember it. I think it was like one of the Tyler Perry movies. I was dating this really ghetto chick, and we went to go see the movie. And she was loud as hell throughout the whole movie, bro. It was a horrible experience. But anyway, it was a Tyler Perry movie. Janet Jackson's in the movie. That's what I remember.
Okay, the Super Mario movie's out. I have some thoughts on it. What everyone think though? What we got? Jordan, Josie, OJ, you guys jump in.
Yeah. As I'll give this my enjoyment of the film as a Mario fan. It's very cute. It's fun. There's a lot of references. It's a lot of like, oh, that's nice. Some music cues in there. There's a lot of stuff that just makes you smile. It's a good time, right? It's fast, it's harmless, it doesn't do anything wrong, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything too special, right? It is just a very cookie cutter, very clean family entertainment film that doesn't offer a lot of substance. I think the music choices are weird in the film.
They got a license for those songs, right? They just have them laying around. They're like, here's
80s rock music.
Yeah.
Take on Me was so
rock.
weird.
Didn't it come out that they wrote stuff for parts and then they were like, nah, fuck it, let's just use regular music?
There was some Donkey Kong song that they had set up, and I guess they changed it out or didn't use it.
Well,
or
it was the part 4 Take on Me. Like, so there was apparently something written like properly made for that scene.
I don't know.
And they just said, let's use this instead.
I guess they figured, hey, this is gonna be a wide appealing movie. Let's just take the most generic, obvious songs. We'll just put them on there. Like, I feel like they just have licenses. Yeah, I feel like they just have licenses.
I personally feel like that's like Hollywood's influence a little bit of like, this original piece that you wrote. No, I don't think so. And then everybody else just kind of had to agree and go with it.
I agree. That's really my only issue.
I think they played it safe. I think what happened was because of how fast it was and how so many things were like resolved or jumped to. Like, and without spoiling anything, there's just major things that just do not get explained, and it's like, all right, and we're moving on.
Let me ask this, Jordan. There's a scene where it's definitely a character's backstory that they introduce, and I'm like, oh, that might be interesting. And they're like, all right, now we're on the next one. I'm like, whoa, okay, we're just going right past that then.
So it happens a lot. It happens whether it's a small thing or it's the big, resolution. It just kind of jumps with little explanation afterwards, which is fine. It just feels like there was maybe a longer cut of this that was severely cut down to just play it.
That's
safe.
what I'm thinking too. I think there's probably a 100 some odd minute episode version of it out there, and maybe that's on the Blu-ray.
There's no major story that's like, if you get told the story, you go, oh no, you've ruined the movie for me, because it's very basic, it's very simple, and just the whole nature of what one character is at for just like most of the story. I kind of wish that they weren't there and they were a part of the movie a bit more. But yeah, it's fine. It's like I said, it's I don't know, it's fine. Watch it for yourself. I don't think you're gonna hate it. I see people just adamantly hate this film, and I don't get that. It's very colorful. Really? It's very cute. It's fine.
Oh,
it's a fine movie.
I know anyone really hate. People hate the movie. It seems like it's hard to hate because it doesn't really waste your time either.
At a fundamental level, and it's the same way I feel with the Sonic films, right? It's the same way I feel about the Sonic films. If you're a fan of the property and you have some attachment to the characters in it, you're just going to enjoy it for what's there, right? You're just going to
kids going to like it.
Kids are absolutely going to eat this up. It's quick, it's fast, it's colorful, it's Mario. You know, like it's stuff you know. So if you're into the character, if you're into that kind of stuff, of course you're going to have a good time. You're going to have a connection to it. You're going to want to always, you know, like, oh, there's Mario. I love this, right? But as a movie, there's so many structural, like an unplugged Game Boy. If you start breaking it down, like fundamentally, what makes a great movie, if you start looking at every aspect, whether it's the score or the pacing or this or that, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues. But at the same time, I overlooked a lot of it because I still was like, hey, it's cute. I had a smile on my face, plenty of it. I wouldn't say this is a great movie. I would say it's a very enjoyable movie.
Is it a good Mario representation though? Because that's the way I look at it. Is people like are saying, oh, it's like a shallow movie. I'm like, most Mario games are super shallow. Like there are probably like 2 that aren't, and it's like Paper Mario. You know what I mean? It's not even like a super like mainline game. And so it's just like, for me, it's like, I don't know. Maybe the standards are really low, but it's like, if it ain't Halo, you know, is it on par with Sonic? But also at the same time, is it just a good representation? Like, is it not going to make a fool of the franchise? Does that make sense?
It doesn't make a fool out of it. It takes a lot of the traits from the series that are very, you know, nostalgic or at least true to the characters for the most part, and just tries to have a good time in the sandbox that it gives you, and it tries to expand on a few more things than you would think. And I see people in the chat kind of throwing up the argument that a lot of people like to give. It's like, well, it's a kids movie. Who cares if it's bad? That's stupid. You know how many kids movies are like good? Like growing up, just because it's a kids movie doesn't mean you have to show your kids crap. You know, a kids movie doesn't have to just be bad. You know, do you as an adult look back at Toy Story, you know, and go, yeah, Toy Story was a crap kid movie? No, it's not. It's an incredible film. And that's not to say that this film is either crap or the best thing ever made. But giving it the excuse like, oh, who cares if it's bad? It's a kids movie. It's a bad argument. And I think you need to recheck yourself on cinema, like in just in general. Like, oh, who cares if it's bad? It's for kids.
Jordan, I think your opinion's valuable here because you're big on cinema. And, you know, and I come from the where I'm not. I don't give a shit what anybody says about any movie. I'll just watch whatever, and I want to know if it's authentic to the source material. I was there with that '93 Mario movie. I was excited, and it was ass. It was complete ass. I don't care about its pacing, about whatever the case is.
What the new excitement around that '93 movie is online. That movie is terrible.
there is an interesting level of nostalgia for kind of crap things. You know, it happens a lot, and I'll be the first to admit if I enjoy something that I know is crap, but I still can enjoy it. Right? Yeah. So, do I love the original, you know, the 1993 Mario movie? No. I think it is not a good representation of Mario, but here's why I do like things about it. It's weird. It's different.
Leguizamo carried the shit out of that movie.
It said, hey, here's what Mario is, and let's just make whatever we want. So if you look at it like that, there's fun to be had. You can have fun games based off of it. You can cringe at it. You can have a good time.
No, man,
I'd be the first to admit it's a solid 4 out of 10. It is not a good movie.
I think you can do that now at this point. But if you were watching it, if you were someone that was playing like Mario 3 and was excited and you went to go see that, it wasn't a fun time. You can do that now. And I do that now with the movie. It's still ass, but I can do that. But back then when I went to go see that movie, I was legitimately upset. Like me, my brother, my sister, we came back like, that's not fair. And that was our one movie for the damn whole, my parents never took me to shit. That was our one movie that we got, man. And we wasted it on that, you know? So for me, it was rough. You know, but I see what you're saying though, Jordan. Like this movie, I'm not a big movie guy. I went and watched it with me and my wife. I thought it was cool. I was like, hey, look, it respects the source material. It's fun. It moves from thing to thing. And they even actually added some story that's not there. You know, with some of the stuff at the beginning, which I'd never seen in any Mario game. So that was cool. But I agree with Jordan's stuff like, in terms of like, you know, the pacing and stuff like that's kind of all over the place. It's really fast and sometimes it slows down, but then it speeds right back up. But I just love all the references. That's the thing for me as a longtime Mario fan. I've been playing since the OG, and it was dope to see all that. It was dope to see all the references, all the different franchises, like the characters they put in there. The Mario Kart section was freaking sick. Loved it. I just loved all the power-ups. That was what's fun. It respects the Mario franchise, and that's what I'm looking for in any video game adaptation. It respects it, to me, even better than the Sonic movies, because who the hell are the people in the Sonic movie? What the hell is going on there? They're not in Green Hill Zone. They're not doing, like, what the hell is the Sonic movie about? And I like Sonic. I know you don't like Sonic, but I like it. And they're just random people, random couple in Wyoming or wherever the hell they are in. So to me, it didn't respect the source material.
Green Hill.
It's a random shit all over the place. Sonic's flossing, riding in a truck.
This question, Jordan. And I want to make it very clear. I am very adamant about, like, I really don't want a Nintendo cinematic universe. Okay. Sure. As someone who's kind of been let down by Marvel and Star Wars, all that stuff, like, I don't need a cinematic universe. But if they are thinking about it, right, if they're going to kind of do this like Sony's doing things, is it at least a good foot in the door to say, hey, we can trust Illumination with future projects that can then go into more in-depth, where then maybe they can warrant more critique in future projects? Because I feel like from what I'm hearing and from what the numbers are saying is that it definitely is a good foot in the door. Would you agree?
Yeah, at the bare minimum level, yeah, it's a good foot in the door. I think animation quality wise and what they were trying to do, all that there, it's impressive. There's a reason why people are going to enjoy this film, and just visually, at a visual aspect, this is the best looking Illumination film they've done. Like on that. Yeah. Nintendo, I feel like Nintendo really made sure that's okay. It has to look like this. We have to stick to a certain guideline. Don't try and head more towards the Despicable Me look, or for the other stuff like the Secret Life of Pets that they do. Just kind of very much make it unique and have a style that fits for what Nintendo is looking for. And whatever they do end up connecting it to, if they do or do not, sure. I don't necessarily want a connected universe either. I don't think it needs to be all leading up to like an Avengers level Super Smash Bros. Brawl movie or anything. Yeah. But for what this is and what the future is teased for it, it seems like it's just kind of Mario focused, and that's fine. And I would like to see what else they can do. There's a couple different teases in direction of what a sequel could be that's throughout the movie, and I'm like, okay, either of these ideas I'm pretty fine with. I think that's interesting. So yeah, I think it's a good foot in the door for whatever they want to do going forward. And I also want to say with this that, like, opinions on this, I don't care if you love something or hate something. I think everyone should have their opinion on it and not be told they're wrong or this or that, right? Like, it's not... I see a lot of people fighting about this, and this also ties back to the Rotten Tomato watch that we were all on, right? Everyone's like, oh no, the reviews are coming in and they're horrible. And then obviously, of course, the fan number score was going to be really high versus the critics one, because that's just how it is. But you can't look at reviews like this. You can't just take a number and go, okay, this movie's good because number high or number low, right? And I'm not saying, oh, just go see it for yourself. And reviews at that point, like, you have to look so much more into them, or you already are aligning yourself with reviewers or people who kind of already have your similar tastes. So if this certain reviewer said they like it or don't like it, and you usually are kind of in the same with your opinions, then you'll probably either follow suit with that. But don't worry about the numbers. I don't care if my favorite film has a 2 on Rotten Tomatoes or 100, and whether it's the critics or the fan side, it does not matter. It's all subjective. And that's the whole point of being a fan of any entertainment property, right? You can make the distinction for yourself. You can take place in the conversation, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's not that serious if it has a 40% from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not something to go, oh man, Hollywood, the critics, they don't get it. It's like, I don't know. It just got really weird before the movie came out.
Can I ask a question of the panel? So I'm seeing it tomorrow morning. My biggest question before it came out, all the criticism towards Chris Pratt and stuff, do the characters seem like the characters, or did it just sound like Chris Pratt being like, hey, Mario?
So,
I
was going to say, for the voices, they didn't get in the way or knows. And actually, I will say this. I feel like Jack Black kind of took Bowser to another level in this, and I really liked what he did there for the voice. I think that was the standout in terms of voice actors, actresses, and everything. I think it was Jack Black. He was very good as Bowser. It was fun. He made Bowser kind of like multi-dimensional. It was interesting. But I do want to give Charlie Day. Oh, Charlie Day. Okay.
I was surprised. I was like, I really like his voice for Luigi. That was my like super plus. But the whole Chris Pratt thing, it's like completely fine. It was. I think he's fine in the movie.
I mean, I think people were just wanting to go after Chris Pratt to go after him. So
sure.
Who knows?
The trailers didn't do him justice though, because he like sounded a little bored in the trailers, but in the movie he has like this like Brooklyn accent, and it's actually really good.
Oh.
Yeah, they either
it's pretty
cut the worst
believable.
takes for the trailer, or they just chose like the worst moments to show in the trailer. It's I don't know. It's very weird.
I'm
Very
just
all
seeing a
weird
bunch
around.
of like tweets all over Twitter saying like, we owe this man an apology. I'm like, you wouldn't owe someone an apology if you weren't a judgmental asshole to begin with. So maybe just like wait to see it before you go off on the timeline.
Well, I said he'd be fine.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
you
but
guys.
you said
I'm
he'd be
saying-
fine
I don't think
before
you guys have
seeing
made
it.
those
That's
tweets.
also a judgment. Just see it first.
No, I'm
Don't
just saying. I said
determine
it'd be
good or
fine.
bad.
I just said let's just wait. It'll be fine. I don't think it'll be terrible. I think it'll be fine. That's why I said people were making it seem that he needed to speak like freaking Mamma Mia! Oh my gosh, pizzaroni, pepperoni! The whole time. That's gonna sound fucking stupid. People don't realize that.
But I guess a lot of people were defensive of Mr. Charles Martinet, and like I get it. The dude is like a national treasure. Like even just getting like. I'm gonna plug myself because I don't do that very often, but on my channel, I literally did like an hour and a half interview with the original voice cast. I literally got to talk to that man, and he is just, I got to see him when he came to Tampa a little bit ago. He's just like the coolest person. So like to see a movie finally come out and him not to get to be the voice, it's like, you understand why, but also like you are defensive for him. But damn, man, y'all were mean on the timeline. Not y'all. I'm saying like, if you whatever, you know what I'm saying. Shoot.
Well, see, that's why I was rude. I was one of those people on Twitter that I thought that initial teaser trailer was terrible because of Chris Pratt. So I'm glad that I'll be honest, I'm glad to take the L. I'm glad that he came out great. I was afraid that he would just like, it's me, the Avengers guy. Oh, how about this Mario? I was legit afraid. I'm glad he did good.
A lot of the characters he's played in the past too have mostly just been himself.
Yes.
And he did character work for the Lego movie, and he was like the main character Emmett, but he was just completely Chris Pratt. And so I think for me at least, my apprehension with him being Mario
You were thinking
was
of
like
Emmett.
Yeah, I was like, is he just gonna talk exactly how he did? And in the trailers that we originally saw, he was kind of, his lines were like, Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. Like
here
it was
we
just like,
go. I
you know,
read
it
that
wasn't
line.
super special, but actually seeing the movie, he does a very good job. So
You know, the voice that kind of threw me off the most wasn't any people that it was like Cranky's voice. That was the one that's just
yeah,
was
I didn't love that one.
But he wasn't in the movie enough, I guess. I don't know, but it was just kind of weird.
I saw someone on Twitter putting like casting that if like Larry David was the voice, it'd be pretty funny for that. Which that would have been pretty fun. I did like his character though.
I like the DK franchise. I've been playing a lot. They definitely took some liberties with the war with Donkey Kong and Cranky. They took a few liberties.
Seth
with
Rogen
it.
laugh made it in too.
So that was interesting, but no, it was fun. The DK part is awesome. You guys have seen the trailer because I'm not ruining anything.
Wait, this is important. How was Toad's voice? How did he do?
Very good. Very funny.
If you didn't know it was Keegan-Michael Key, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah,
Actually,
I was surprised because I was like, I don't remember it sounding like this high pitch when we first heard it, but it definitely sounded like more Toadish in the film.
Really?
Yeah, it was very funny.
It sounds like the marketing team needs to get fired because y'all didn't do.
What happens with trailer cuts is like the trailers are made by trailer houses most times that just are given what they're given early on to make a trailer. So a lot of stuff that is not in the final cut, different takes, other stuff just gets in the trailer because that's all they're allowed to have. So it happens sometimes.
Really?
That's why
Because
it's hard to judge off a trailer.
I feel like some trailers that we see for movies though, like I feel like you watch the whole movie in the trailer. Like I feel like that's like the whole movie.
On the trailer companies that have to do it. Yeah, sometimes they're the ones who edit it bad, and the studio's just like, all right, we put it out.
Yeah, or sometimes they're just given literally nothing. I have seen times where they're given like, all right, we have 10 minutes of this one scene at a diner. So even though it's an action movie, it's like, well, we got to cut up this conversation as action-packed as possible.
I do want to give a shout out here to Scarlet Vixen with a large super chat. It said people keep claiming the Mario movie is just a kids movie, but it's really not. There was way too many references that dug deep into Mario's roots that only adults that grew up with the NES would get. And then they followed up with a question asking, anyway, what did you guys think of how they changed Peach's representation?
They did not change.
They did not change Peach's representation. Damn it! Me and Jordan thinking that they did not.
I'm so tired. I literally put out a video. I was talking about Super Princess Peach, a game from 2006 where she is the one saving Mario and Luigi who are captured. Every time we have seen Peach after Super Mario 64, every time after that, Peach has been involved in some way of being
Mario
a tough
2
character. Or even in Mario 2, that's true.
Do you think maybe they just mean that they're not like, oh, Mario? You know what I mean? Like she's kind of like.
But
I feel like
she hasn't always been that. Look, Mario 2, she's a playable character and she's kicking people's ass. Super Mario RPG, she's a playable character and she has a frying pan, she has a golf club, she's kicking people's ass. Smash Brothers, she's kicking people's ass. She's been kicking people's ass since the 80s, guys. Like, this is ridiculous.
But I feel like
Super
maybe
Mario
she's
3D World
actually getting like a voice though. I think is what's probably also throwing people off though. Like you see her kicking ass in Smash Brothers. You see her, tearing up the freaking track on Mario Kart. The people who are, calling political alliances because they don't know the Mario series, that's one thing. But I feel like as how we've heard Peach for so long, you're like, Mario, you're like, that's very different than how she is in the movie.
That should be the same for all the characters because every character has always had a couple words.
Two grunts. Yeah.
Right.
No, I understand.
Donkey Kong doesn't even speak.
Personally, I think Anna was like a really good call for Peach though, just because I feel like she's
such a baddie in the movie.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I think it's really cool, but I feel it's just exhausting when people like argue over Peach. She's literally been like the most prevalent female character in like any video game franchise. So like to see people like fighting over it when
it's annoying. It's annoying because Peach has been fighting and has been sometimes she don't feel like dealing with the bullshit, bruh. Koopa be coming, he be threatened to toad the kingdom, so she just rolls. She's like, all right, Mario will come around, I'm good,
I do wish Daisy was featured because I really feel like they would have a really funny dynamic.
Maybe the next movie.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess that's everything. We'll see. MEG's gonna see it someday. Sean,
I'll see it eventually.
Streaming services. Max will see it tomorrow. I'm sure he'll tweet something about it. So we'll hear from him then. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. The kids enjoyed it. They thought it was amazing. So there you go. It was a good time for. I will say. She also mentioned the references. There were some legit references back to Mario's like beginnings. So it's definitely targeted towards adults who maybe remember being a kid even and playing the original.
But a lot of kids animation or just PG rated things in general do have a level of things for an older audience usually sprinkled in there. So you can also have a good time in general. Just stuff and almost any like.
I don't see this as a kids movie. I see this as a family movie. Is how
definitely
the family movie. Yep. So, Evan, we have a Discord question over there.
Yeah. Retro game collecting is expensive, but within that, those of us that collect text-based adventures from the early 80s, specifically by a company called Infocom, have been paying hundreds, even thousands for their big box releases. Do you think the collector market for retro games will ever cool off?
No. No.
I used to. Okay. I'll be honest, about 8 years ago, there was a lot of rumblings. The bubble was going to pop, and here we are 8 years later. It is not.
I mean, for this type of thing, it requires the people with money to lose interest, and that doesn't seem to be the case. Nostalgia is king still. So
I was going to say, are you asking for nostalgia to stop existing? That's kind of what it comes down to.
I am.
Yeah, I mean, even the 3DS is like blowing up right now, so I feel like it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Okay.
Yep.
I do need to segue over though, because everyone heard of Sean's troubles with the Pepto and the almonds fighting back, grapes, fruit. It was all over the place, right? Well, I gotta let you know, Sean, it might be time to make the switch to tonight's sponsor. That's Factor.
Could be.
Make meeting your nutritional goals easy using Factor. Spring is right around the corner. I mean, you might be too busy to spend time cooking. If you're out and about more often, Factor will deliver fresh, never frozen meals directly to your doorstep, and you can prepare these meals in just 2 minutes. Factor offers tons of options for a menu of over 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options. You'll always have something new to try. There are also over 45 different add-ons to pick from. for those in between snacks. It's cheaper and faster than takeout, and to me, that's the best part. Having a meal ready in 2 minutes lets me plan out and get on with my day in no time, and there's less time spent at the grocery store, which with current food prices, that's probably a plus. Head to factor75.com or click the link below in that description and use code SpawnWave50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. That's factor75.com, code SpawnWave50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring the video to the SpawnCast tonight.
All right, I'm gonna try to fix the video real quick.
Thank you, Evan.
That was the smoothest transition. Good job, John.
Hey, Sean. Although I don't know, hopefully they like the idea of introducing them with Sean throwing up, but we'll find out. They'll send me a letter.
Yeah, it's legit good. I've had Factor. I love it.
We got you, Sean. I'll talk with the people. I don't know. I don't think they do almonds, so. Let's go over. I do want to talk about the Xbox emulation stuff, MVG, and then I'll go into some of the super chats after that, see what was going on there. But MVG, what's going on? I have my Xbox here. I turned it on and I wanted to play PlayStation on it, right? I know it sounds weird, but there were emulators. I had them in retail mode, and it came up with a message. It's unavailable now.
Well, the jig is up, man. Microsoft finally decided to pull the plug on it, but it's not really like the end of the world. I made a video about it yesterday, so check it out if you want to learn more about what happened. But you can still switch over to developer mode, which is essentially where this stuff was meant to be in the first place. So I think the way that games ended up on retail was through some type of loophole, which is tied to an email address and something. I never was one that advertised that on my channel when I did videos on it, because I always felt like eventually Microsoft would just come in and just like disable it, right?
You know how I knew that was going to happen? Because they kept pulling the pages down. So the way it worked, because I got them all on my Xbox, it actually took about 3 weeks, because there was a Discord and they would occasionally post up a link that you would go to from your Xbox. You have to type it in, like tiny URL, and then it would initiate the install on your Xbox. So I had DuckStation, I had Dolphin, I had an Xbox Xenia, the Xbox 360 emulator on there, so I could play games that were not technically backwards compatible on there. And they came in and they disabled it, even though I have it on my Xbox, which is weird. I thought I had control in the digital future.
But you do. Just use dev mode. I think a lot of people have hesitations about using it, but it's a one-time fee. I think it costs $20. In fact, I think I was reading reports about if you log into Turkey or somewhere or some European country, you can get it for as low as $2 or something like that. So just get dev mode and switch over to that. Put everything on an external USB drive, and you should be good to go. Nothing has really been lost except for convenience. And obviously, there are people that are unhappy about this, but I also feel again, this was only a matter of time before this was going to happen. And I don't really know why they decided to do it now, but if I was to guess, John, I think it's probably because of Xenia. You're kind of flying a little close to the sun when you're emulating 360 games that aren't part of the backward compatibility program. So that's just my guess, though. I don't know if that's accurate
there was
or not.
there was that email that was kind of floating around, the copy and paste email. It seems like that may not be 100% now, as people are questioning and throwing it around currently. So I think more information is needed there, because they did bring up a bunch of reasons. One was security. Yep. One was Nintendo. and there was another one that was, I want to say I kind of feel like it had to do with Xenia, like you're saying, in a roundabout way. Hey, we're going to try to figure out how to get some of these emulators on there.
Yeah.
We're going to talk with the developers of those emulators. But it's not hard to believe that Nintendo would say something. But security is interesting. I didn't even think of that necessarily.
Yeah, there was some rumors about maybe getting higher elevation access to parts of the system that you're not supposed to. And I mean, that could well be the case, of course, but look, at the end of the day, like I said, it just go to dev mode. Nothing is slower there. In fact, you get more power on dev mode than you do on retail mode with these apps. So just jump over there and you'll be good.
Dev mode it is. Okay. They did say, at least again in that email that's circulating, is that they're not planning on taking it away from dev mode because it's sandboxed.
Yep.
at least for now. I mean, I assume they're going to leave it.
They'll leave dev mode in. I mean, I think the only thing they may consider is the next generation or the next system that comes out. They may do away with dev mode, but like for now, on the Xbox Series and the Xbox One line of systems, it's there to stay. It's not going to go away.
You know what's interesting though is this. After all this, I did kind of have a little realization once again, reminder maybe, that if the company wants to, they can just, even if it's on your system, they can just take it away from you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
That's the scary part. They can just remove licenses for pretty much anything and block anything.
Right. So if there's a game that gets out there that has some issue in it that they deem, okay, we got to unrelease this game, hey, just take it back.
Wasn't there like a discussion about that with like PlayStation Store stuff a while ago? Like
I mean, they're delisting old PS3 games right now, Xbox 360 games. They kind of just do them stealthily sometimes. They'll grab a handful of like 10 or 15 games and just start delisting them. So you can't, even if you like own them, if you want to try download them on a new system, in some cases they won't even let you do that. So the delisting of games is kind of an ongoing thing that obviously is not very well liked in the industry, of course, but yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Okay.
Well, I think about that was what you talked about, because I watched your video, MVG, and I didn't get it at first of like, okay, emulators being banned makes sense, but then when you said like, yeah, now they can just deactivate stuff, I was like, oh, that's the red flag. Because I think about these games with like music license and stuff. I play a lot of games with like, big poppy soundtracks, and I do think, oh, what if they don't want to re-up that soundtrack in 5 years? I guess I just stop owning the game.
I don't know. I'm curious about that going forward. If we see this pop up with something that was paid for or even a free app, because I know YouTube gets pulled off of platforms at times and it's like, okay, this app's just not available anymore. But it does make me think about that future where there's no physical copy. It's all tied to servers, digital, and they just decide that you don't have this anymore.
Well, I mean, didn't it happen this week? It's Quantum Break is going away for a couple days where they forgot to renew some license. So
it's on Game Pass. If you still own it, technically, you can play it, but it's pulled out of the subscription service technically. Yeah. But I get what you're saying with that one. Technically,
it's weird to have the idea of having a game and then it disappears for like a week while they like redo some paperwork and it comes back.
I don't know. I feel like it's just so weird, and I'm sure people who are hardcore physical gamers right now are like, I can do it. But it's just weird to me. Like you pay a full amount for something, all of a sudden it's like, no, never mind. You can't have it. But I think physical gamers are praising a little bit right now. They're like, haha, the paranoid paid off.
Weird. The government does that shit to us all the time.
Yes.
We should be used to it.
I'm not touching it.
Let's let me go to Evan. You have a Discord question. I'll pull up the super chess.
Do you expect Mortal Kombat 12 to be announced this month, and what features or improvements would you care to see
this month? Interesting. I kind of feel like that might be a Jeff Keighley Summer Game Fest Productions thing, maybe.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, he had the reveal for Mortal Kombat 11 at the Game Awards, I thought, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a big stage. You see, Ed Boon has just been tweeting about it subtly as a joke, and then finally on April Fool's Day, he was like, "Should I go ahead and release? Should I announce Mortal Kombat 12 on April Fool's Day?" He's just really...
Well, they just the CEO or whatever at the company just put it out there during an earnings call one time. It's like, we got Hogwarts Legacy's good, Mortal Kombat's coming out this year, it's good stuff, and it's like, well, we didn't announce that yet, so whatever. I think that's Jeff Keighley's.
Mortal Kombat's awesome. It's got that historical clout to where people don't give a shit. They'll just buy it, play it for like 4 days, and be like, "All right, I'm done." But I still
do all the fatalities and then
people
stop.
Want to see all the fatalities and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's got that. It's like I'm not playing it competitive. I'm not going to play it for.
It's just like all the Budokai games. You just want to see the supers, and then you're out.
I love that though, because Mortal Kombat should do well. Like it should. Like all these fighting games have been, it's been tough for a lot of fighting games, but Mortal Kombat comes out and sells like crazy.
I wonder if they would come up with a new concept similar to remember when they did the X-rays, right? That was awesome. That was like game changing. I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna have anything that feels like that game changing. I mean, they've surprised me with that. So,
Dude, I was surprised with the last Mortal Kombat because, like, listen, I don't have a problem with like the violence and all, but it seemed even like crazier to me.
I agree.
they're getting away with
like,
a lot, and I'm
yeah.
wondering if they're gonna push the envelope much more.
My stomach physically turned when I first I couldn't watch it, and then once I got used to it, it was fine. But there was a period in between. I was just like, dude, this is nasty, man.
There are some where I'm like, oh, they actually got away with that. Interesting, because eventually you can get.
Talking about the one where like his testicles get smushed.
I'm talking about the one where they rip like from like their fingernail, like they rip in like half, like they pull from the fingernails.
Like one, I was like, oh, I'm not even
they get close because you can get an adult
like...
rating for violence. I don't think people realize this. You can get one in video games for
and
that.
in Japan, like the game can't be sold in Japan. Like
no, it doesn't sell in Japan.
It doesn't sell in Japan. There's certain countries where the game just can't.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Japan doesn't allow any adults only. If it gets an adults only rating, I mean that's the same thing for here too. But in Japan, like any adults only rated game is just not.
Well, even that like mature. Like I remember Resident Evil 4 had to get censored in Japan.
Yeah, they'll censor games to make it to hit the 0 rating. Yeah. So it'll get censored and then just barely make the 0 rating. Yeah. But there's nothing that you can do with Mortal Kombat. Like you would have to completely butcher the game for it to even make the 0 rating in
half the
Japan.
game's in mosaic. It's just pixels flying around. All right.
Like silhouette goes black and white, so you can't.
That's what they did with No More Heroes. Like they turned all the blood like black and like weird.
Manhunt. Remember Manhunt 2?
It's better than white.
Go over some of the super chats here. Khalil says, bought Octopath 2 for my Steam Deck. Great game. Jeffrey Tucker says, no troll and no cap. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a 4 out of 10. Y'all already mind saying it's good. Well, then Bad Gamer followed up and said Jeffrey might have a head injury.
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10?
Bro, I have never seen a person who needed to touch grass more. Like I have no idea what your scale is, brother.
That's a well-timed super chat that my back.
You the homie. You the homie, Jeffrey. I like you, man. But 4 out of 10? That's like when a game's like broken. Like a 4 out of 10.
No, it's slightly below.
Yeah, it's only slightly below average.
Yeah. Oh, Sean's the scale.
The Sean scale. I like the Sean scale. I prefer the Sean scale.
I kind of do too because I know what kind of wars is going to start online. Hey,
4 out of 10.
First scale coming up for Tears of
the
Kingdom, right?
4 out of 10 is hot trash.
Man, I legitimately think, as a person who beats a lot of horror games, I think this is legitimately the best horror game ever made. So
I think it's a horror game.
It's more a survival and resource management.
It's more of a horror game than the original release was.
I agree. It definitely is now, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I never felt horror throughout the whole time.
Hardcore, OJ. You just don't get spooked.
I do. I got spooked by Bloodborne. So that's the thing. I got spooked by Bloodborne at times. When that pig in the tunnel, that pig scared me.
This is a super chat for Evan, actually, from Tijo, asking for any tips for new and returning Genshin players to help catch up in terms of progression and deal with the many long grinds the game throws at us.
Oh, you just got to pick characters and focus on making them better. That's pretty much it. Just pick characters to make 2 teams work, and that's about all.
2 teams.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Banana says, here's to hoping Jordan does not speak like a parrot. He must be a silent accessory to the podcast. I want him there, but not talking.
Absolutely.
Seen but not heard, like all kinds of children.
This is a back and forth Jordan has with Necro Banana.
Yeah, last week it all hit ahead as everyone's like, I'm either not talking enough or I'm talking too much.
It's a joke. Jordan, it's an inside joke.
Jordan,
I just got to deliver something, all right?
You should talk more.
Okay, I'll talk less. Got it.
Yeah,
this is from the Sony Pony Poacher. All right, we'll see where this goes.
Go on.
Glad to see Josie and Click on the cast. Spawn and OJ, what's your favorite Dragon Ball moment? Gohan turning Super Saiyan 2 against Cell always will be goated.
Oh, that might be. I'm a Team Gohan's my favorite character. Not Gohan, just Team Gohan. Just him in the purple with the get up like Piccolo. So that's one of my favorite. The father son Kamehameha is one of my favorite. Moments is when he just blew his ass away with Goku and the looking on. That was great. So
going with the proud Prince Vegeta's sacrifice against Boo. That was a good ending to the episode.
You're trolling, Johnny.
No, that was
That
legitimately
was
good.
one of the more
That was
legitimate
awesome.
moments in
I
that
love
But it
series.
was all for nothing.
Because no one expected it at all in
It
that
was all
moment.
for nothing. He blew his ass up for
It
nothing.
was so well done though. That episode ending.
Okay, you're
and
not
when you have-
trolling though.
And if you have kids and it hits different,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
a good. That is a really good moment in Dragon Ball.
Okay, you're right, because before that, like when he blows up half the stadium because he really wants to fight Goku. That whole setup was awesome because he truly felt he was like the most powerful at the time. He's the only one that can stop Boo. So yeah, I see what you're saying though.
I mean, he asked Vegeta if he was going to heaven or hell, or he asked Piccolo, and Piccolo was like, I mean, you look at what you did. He's like, all right, well, that's that.
That's my favorite
See
thing
ya.
about that, is that his sacrifice gets him to heaven. I love that. That's such a good gift.
Yeah, technically they did, because they turned it around and he came back. So
Yeah.
Yep.
That was good. No, you're right. You're right. That
Sean Bob in his head, remembering.
Oh, so good. Yeah. Awesome. Pickle juice.
Pickle juice. You said Piccolo or pickle juice?
Piccolo juice. Yeah.
That's a good episode.
Don't milk Piccolo.
Peak says, "Did you see the SpawnCast AI parody video?" We did.
Yes,
the best
the
thing
millionth time.
Pyro?
No, there's two videos.
There's a
I know. There's
video?
another one.
Yeah, there's two now.
Jesus.
I
We're
subscribed.
replaced. We're replaced.
The same guy.
Yeah. Subscribe
Okay,
to
good.
the channel.
I'm gonna watch it. That first
Bro,
one. I
between the
tweeted out
AI
a text.
videos and oh god, was it Ted? He would make the parody videos, but he would like go through like actual episodes and like remember they would like take clips
Yeah,
of us.
SpawnCast Odyssey. The SpawnCast
Hey,
Odyssey.
Zuma.
Yes.
I think the favorite one where he made it look like we all hated each other and he just edited all the awkward silences together. It's like here's Philip Mewson and Sean's just like, what are we doing this for?
Bat says, "Click and Josie at SpawnCast finally getting some women representation here on the show. When is Mrs. Cass and Mrs. Essence joining the SpawnCast?" Oh, probably
Did you
Probably
just
not.
assume our gender?
ever for a long time for Mrs. Cast. What's that?
Mrs. Essence, she's very outgoing and she's very nice and likes to talk, but cameras she's just all of a sudden shuts down. She's not a what's it called? Photogenic or camera
shy.
Camera shy. She's very much that way. So she refuses. She won't even come on my stream. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm just. Why was the rest of us not asked about our significant others coming on? Spyro.
Okay.
What?
Jordan.
No, I'm just in general. It's like, why? Everyone has
Wait.
relationships. We can bring people on. Thank
Oh?
you.
Is there someone?
I've been married for 10 years.
Damn.
You were 15.
Is your 15?
I'm 15 now.
I don't see Jordan as a married person. I'll be honest. I don't see him as like a married dude.
I just
At
don't
least
wear
not-
my ring.
Not now. Maybe later when you're older, but not now.
Ruffle says, "I would love to see Fire Emblem Three Houses filmed similar to HBO Last of Us."
That would not work.
That'd
That would not work. No, Fire Emblem is too long. It's too
I think
drawn out.
I think it's more enjoyable as a game. I don't
Yeah.
think it needs to be like maybe in like some kind of universe, but unless I don't know. Last of Us was so good because it was literally like
Linear.
pets
Just-
looked
yes.
identical. Like the only big difference were like a few story changes that I don't necessarily agree with, but then like the lack of bad guys, because
Does
they
he-
wanted it to stay scary.
Does he mean live action Fire Emblem?
It doesn't. I mean, I'm
I'm gonna say no. An anime series would work, like an anime series with like Castlevania Netflix. That would work,
Yeah,
but
the
maybe.
Castlevania was good.
but like I'm not even sure if that would be like incredible. Like maybe it could, but Fire Emblem Three Houses is too dense. It's
It would
just
need to
too
be in a
much.
universe. I don't think it could be three houses.
Yeah.
Devil says, "Welcome back, Click and Jordan. Can you say Spyro loudly?"
He
For
did.
Jordan.
He muted himself.
Is that loud enough?
Or can Jordan say Spyro loudly?
Oh, hold on. Is that good?
That was good.
It's a
Thank
good
you.
soundbite.
Roland says, "First time live listener, really love Dreamcast guys' opinions and views. I've only seen him on Griffin Gaming's channel. Nice to finally hear him live."
This is how I actually talk when I'm actually talking.
Like, wait a minute. He's actually normal when I'm not being portrayed in some type of weird
Yeah,
edited
yeah.
way. What?
When,
No.
when it's not 10-second clips. Yeah.
M says, do you guys think that in a few years Nintendo will start putting their movies on Nintendo Online as part of the expansion pass?
No.
Probably not.
Hopefully not.
It's gonna be funny that you could watch the Mario movie on your PlayStation, your Xbox, but not your Switch.
Oh yeah, because they don't have the streaming apps. Oh, yeah.
No, there's no Blu-ray.
And they sign a 10-year deal with Xbox.
Yeah. That's
Remember when we thought Netflix was gonna come to the Switch?
Yeah, that was like a rumor. It's weird that that's like a
remember.
rumor. And it's like this hyped up thing. It's Netflix.
It's weird that it's not true. It seems like such an easy, like, why would they not?
Well, bro, we had it made during the Wii era. Do you remember how many different channels were on the freaking Wii, bro?
On the browser.
We've
There was an actual
backtracked.
web browser.
I do not like the Wii era. I'm sorry.
I do remember the
I have the
Wii.
Netflix DVD somewhere.
I actually hate the Wii era, so that's just me though. The games was just everything was motion. They never they had a Pro Controller. They never used it half the time.
Coordinated. Damn.
I'm coordinated. I can play basketball. I can use both hands. I'm coordinated. But no, the Wii motion era, man, it was too much.
Yeah, then we have Travis with a cool sticker. Cristobal says, great face tonight. Super Mario Bros. Movie was an 8 out of 10 for me. Was Mario foreshadowing a potential future game in his room during movie? Oh, I know which game we're talking about. Maybe. Oh, that'd be an interesting way to tease it.
Nope.
Adventures says, loved when Mario came out and said it's Mario time. Oh gosh. Orb says, can you talk about the absurdity of Monster Energy targeting indie devs and now the Pokemon Company and Monster Hunter over the use of the word monster? That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard, by the way.
No one's confused about a Pokemon and an energy drink.
Apparently that happened a while ago, right? And it's just coming up again.
We
because
own the patent to the question mark.
But now they're going after some indie dev because they just have monster in the title. Apparently Gods and Monsters, people were mentioning it was changed because of Monster Energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That is isn't that weird? I don't know. That gets in the vague territory for copyright stuff and trademark.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to copyright one word. Like that's not supposed to be a thing.
What were you saying?
Well,
what were you
it's
saying,
a
Josie?
word that's so common.
What were you saying,
I
Josie?
said, why are they even going after the Pokemon Company though? Because their games aren't like pocket monsters. You know, that's it.
Right.
I don't even think most people know it stands for Pocket Monsters.
Yeah.
Right. But so exactly. So why are they
Yeah.
even going after them? That's so stupid. Nintendo's going to obliterate them if they even try.
I think they had gone after them, and that's at least what they were mentioning. There were I guess filings and stuff they found that was like, oh, they had tried this.
Oh, okay.
I guess it didn't work, but now they're looking at smaller indie devs who are probably not interested. Yeah, they're not interested in going against them in court or
it's just fake publicity for their shitty energy drinks.
Well,
I mean, to me,
it's that, but the other part of it is that if you ever actually read into copyright law is built on enforcement. So you have to do like slap suits. So it's this type of stuff. It's not like they're trying to change the name of Pokemon or change the name of Monster Hunter. They're just doing it because it enforces it so other people can't make a drink called Monster something. It's a stupid thing where they have to do lawsuits that they know they're going to lose. They're not trying to win.
That's why Red Bull's better.
True.
Zach says, what is the best platform to play Diablo 4? PC, Xbox Series X, or PS5? Which one is the best and worst?
It's not out yet, right?
No, but I put a lot of time into the beta and I got to play the beta, multiple betas in the alpha. I still say it's best on PC, but I did enjoy it on PlayStation 5.
I have to imagine PC is going to be the
Did they
place
keep
for
in
Diablo.
the trick between PC and console where on console you have like the dodge roll you can do? Did they keep that as a difference, or did they
it's
take
on
it out?
all of them now. The one thing that people are really asking for is controller controls are fantastic on all things, but there's no WSAD. If you play it with a keyboard and mouse,
well, it's like MOBA, right? It's click.
But then why is it not a twin stick
is,
shooter? It could just be played like a twin stick.
Exactly. Since it's playable as a twin stick with a controller, people are asking for WSAD so you can move your character and then click items.
That's so weird, man. I guess I get it because like not everybody plays a MOBA, but for me, it's just so MOBA-like. It's anything else feels really weird to me. I don't know. Include it. Why not?
Yeah, when you play it, this one feels much more like an MMO. Like I've played a lot of Blizzard MMOs.
What about like Lost Ark or something?
To me it feels much closer to World of Warcraft to me, in that there's like living cities and lurking for group and guild chat and stuff. It feels
so
much more.
The top down doesn't affect that at all.
No, it feels like merging Path of Exile and World of Warcraft. People are even calling it an MMO light, which I didn't know was a term. So it's apparently where like you can play it by yourself, but it's very able to, while you're just running around, you'll randomly have people join your party and stuff.
So let's talk a bit about Resident Evil 4. It came up earlier as 4 out of 10, but this is about an update that took place. The mercenaries mode was added, right, Max?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that. And they also added in microtransactions, which it's always interesting when these things get added after the review period has ended. And
they also fixed the Xbox version with the dead zones.
Yes, the dead zone. And I checked it. It is much better to where fine tuning or moving the reticule around for sniper shots. It's just better now. So good news there. I was told I was crazy. Turns out, I guess I was right. Anyway, we do have microtransactions now.
Yeah.
And the microtransactions, from what I can see, is basically for accelerating progress with tickets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the tickets are very weird. So you can buy them. They're 23 separate shop items. And basically what it is for the 23 guns in the game. I bought one to see how it worked. Basically, whenever you max out a gun, you buy every single upgrade for a gun. It upgrades a final tier, which will do something like 10 times damage or infinite ammo. It does like a super ability attached to the gun. By buying these microtransactions, you can get that instantly. So the Chicago typewriter or hand cannon get infinite ammo. The Blacktail does like 10 times headshot damage, so you can kill bosses with a pistol. But you can also sell the ticket to the vendor for 80,000. So if you have one particular gun you like, you could buy the microtransact, like 2 of the tickets, and then max out your gun at the very start of the game with a fresh file. I tested it. It's very pay to win. It is, because every time you start the game, you immediately get the ticket in your inventory. So right at the start, you can choose to instantly max out any one weapon of your choosing for $3.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I made a video talking about it. And what's really kind of surprising to me is my video kind of blew up, and it started a lot of people saying that this is, to them, good microtransactions because it is a single player experience. A lot of people in my comment section saying, okay, at least you're not buying a gun that's stronger than your opponent. There is no online leaderboards. It's you just playing against yourself. But I still don't like it because this stuff used to be cheat codes. Like, maybe give me that ticket for free for each playthrough. Like, if we're going to act like this ticket system is intended, incentivize it beyond just swiping your credit card.
It does feel like that's what they're charging for cheat codes, Max. You're right. Because I kind of feel like this would have been a button combination in the Xbox, GameCube, PS2 era, as opposed to swiping a credit card for extra credits. And I guess that's just where we are. The thing that's still interesting to me is they added it in after launch, as in it feels like they were trying to avoid something with it.
In their rating, did it say that there would be microtransactions? Because I thought there used to be legal issues with this where you keep them out at the beginning and then you put them in later, because some countries just don't like that in general.
I think that was for loot boxes specifically.
Just loot boxes.
But, yeah.
Can't you unlock all the stuff in the game that's available for microtransaction?
Yeah, you can play it and unlock it.
I tested it out. So the thing is that this is stuff, these are the end game unlocks. At the very end of the game, you get the master ability to defeat the strongest enemies, to survive the island and stuff. By paying $3, you immediately get the end game unlocks. So I'm not saying that it completely destroys the game, but it is very weird that a person who pays $60 is going to have a very different experience from the person who pays $63 and gets one ticket.
I feel like people who pay $63 though, maybe they don't get the intended experience, but that's like on them. I feel like when it comes to, again, if it's single player, you're not affecting anybody else but yourself. I feel like for the most part though, like if you're going to speed run, like, is that something where it's a requirement that you have to buy the best gun for that run? Or is it something that you're not allowed to, and it has to be like a fresh vanilla run? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what it would affect more than anything, is like speed running more than, like who cares if someone just wants to save time and play through on easy mode because they bought the OP gun, you know what I mean? So it's like, if it was a multiplayer, I feel like it'd be a completely different story.
Or if it was stuff that you couldn't access in the game, period, and it was only available via DLC, like, I'd have an issue with it. But I mean, if it just saves you some time and you don't feel like doing all the requirements needed to unlock it, I don't think it's a problem.
I'm annoyed with it because Ubisoft has done this in the past with their time savers system, where it's like, all right, here's a grind, but you can buy an XP booster, and that is my
double
fear.
XP.
It feels
Was it?
cheap.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's my thing, is that I'm not saying that this is the end of the world. I'm saying that this is, to me, a slippery slope, to something that would suck.
Because it'll affect the structure of the game, because you feel like you have to develop with the idea of an artificial grind and then a toll basically to bypass it.
Yeah, if you're told like, hey, you're stuck on this boss, if you pay $3, you can beat it right now. That to me is bad game design. And that's what I feel like this is the first tiny step towards. And to be fair, after I posted my video, people actually sent me, they apparently did this with Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake as well, which is a month after launch. They made it where you paid $2 and you'd unlock all the super weapons.
I think people forget Capcom's been doing this for a long. I remember Devil May Cry 4 had microtransactions in it, and it would I think they just give you orbs. Like, here's currency for the game here.
Back in 2008, right? Back in 2008, 2000. Yeah, back in
360. I remember that.
Yeah, they did, and people didn't like it back then. It's just that now at this point, I think people are more. It's more tolerable now, I guess. Maybe.
It's just, I think we've just been beaten over the head with it so much that it's like, well, all right. That's kind of the sentiment I see now. Is, you know, we've seen many more egregious examples that this is like, whatever.
I think it affects game design though. I'm with Max. I think sometimes like when you're thinking, hey, I can get a buck off this instead of being able to unlock it normally. I'm going to program it this way. I'm going to do it this type of way, and it can be dangerous heading forward in the future if developers say, not cheat codes, not something that you earn, but just do it fast. Like, hey, look, it takes forever. You got to grind in order to get this, but if you just pay, you can do it quick. So I think it does affect actual game design, like for people just want to play the game that already spent the 60 or 70 or whatever.
Do you think there's anything to them adding it later through an update? As in, like, they were trying to avoid potential publicity or bad publicity, or do you think it just wasn't ready yet and they're like, it'll come out?
No, Capcom's been doing this. They let us know, like they did this with the DLC with RE7. They're like, oh, everything's complete. Then all of a sudden, a week later, hey, there's DLC. You know what I'm saying? There's extra stuff that's added on. So they don't say things purposefully. You know what I'm saying? And like it's like a little unlock, right? Like you just download a little megabyte unlock in it. So they've been doing this, but I mean, Capcom's games are really good. People like them, so.
Well, so also what's weird is that by doing the Mercenaries mode, they also unlocked simultaneously is great. It's super fun. It's like an arena thing. 150 enemies drop down. You got to kill them, get a high score. Very fun. By even doing the 3 maps, you immediately unlock the best weapon in the game, the hand cannon, in the normal story, and it's free. So it does feel like in a weird way that they had this plan all along to release the game and then make it 20 times easier 2 weeks later. The whole situation is just very baffling to me. If that, it's like those of us who beat the game initially are getting a totally different experience from the people beating it now.
Kind of reminds me, you remember WoW? When they kind of made it to where you basically can just buy like a caught up character versus doing the grind.
The character boost.
Yeah, no, it's kind of the same vibe.
I can see the rage on Sean's face right now with that. Definitely.
Oh, he seems like a total WoW player.
Definitely a WoW guy there.
He's looking at a picture of grapes on his screen right now. He's
writing hate messages.
Just writing loser across.
Screw you, you damn grape. I don't like you. I want corporate's number.
Sorry, Click.
No, I was just gonna say he seems like a fury warrior kind of guy. I don't know why.
There it is.
True. That's a good joke. Somebody in chat's gonna get that. That's a good joke, Click.
So yeah, Resident Evil 4 microtransactions now. Excited for what could be with Street Fighter 6. That'll be fun.
Oh, there's gonna be a ton.
We have Discord questions over there, Evan.
Do you guys worry about finishing games before moving on to the next one for the creation of content, since we are YouTubers and reviewers?
I imagine that's got to be what Max thinks about constantly.
Yeah. Well, I have the terrible treadmill, which is that I can never go back. That's part of why I beat. Sometimes people will ask, why did you beat Resident Evil 4 10 times in a week? And it's because when I stop playing it, I'm never going to get a chance to play it again. I have to go on to the next one. I actually am already working right now on the next big review, and I'm done with Resident Evil 4. I can't go back. So yeah, I'm sure you guys have that too, where it's like, well, I have to move on to the relevant content, you know?
Yeah. I don't think that's not that severe, but I do feel the need to at least check out and play games that come out that week for whatever system is in front of me at the time, even if it's not a genre that I'm like super into, but I'm like, I'll check it out to have some sort of conversation on the podcast and stuff. So.
I think that's why I have so much respect for you guys and like your type of content, like having to stay on top of the ball and like also have to, you know, like have experience with what you're doing. That's why like sometimes I'm behind like a week or two well, before I took a break. But it's like I feel like the difference with live streaming is like your people are watching you experience it for the first time. So it's like you kind of get that leeway, you kind of get some more time, and if another game comes out, you can like divide half your time to each of them. You know what I mean? So
I mean, somehow MVG's over there developing games, beating games, times faster than me, and then still putting videos out.
I don't play anywhere near as many games as you guys do throughout the year. I usually have like 10 games, like 10 quality games that I just kind of like to go through.
He showed up one night and was like, I beat Resident Evil 4 times. It's like, when?
Last week.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He crushed that game. He's like, I got the infinite rocket launcher. I'm already through it.
Once you get the rocket launcher, you can just blitz through that game in about 4.5 hours.
Yeah. You beat those Far Cry games? That surprised me because I'll play through them. Like, these are pretty long games at times.
I thought you were about to say you beat the Far Cry games. That's why I thought you were about to say that. Yeah.
That's why I know MVG's is going to be in Redfall with me because he's. Oh yeah, that sounds like Far Cry. So
yeah, we're doing Redfall.
We'll do Redfall. All right, good.
I went in on that squad.
We'll do Redfall. But hey, good stuff there. Good stuff. We'll talk about that. I'm sure there was a video that got downvoted pretty bad on IGN, but I don't think we have time to really go over that right now. Let's. You have another Discord question, Evan?
I guess we'll backtrack a little bit. What are your favorite instances of playable Princess Peach? This is for the Mario movie stuff.
Super Princess Peach on the DS.
Yeah,
there it is.
Is that Mario video on it recently?
Mario 2 was great. The fake Mario 2 and Super Mario 3D World was awesome. And Super Mario RPG that's probably my favorite because she's actually really good in that game. So very fun to use her in Super Mario RPG.
Bro, it's gotta be Smash Brothers. Come on.
She's incredibly good in Smash Ultimate. I used her in Smash 4. I did not use her as much in Smash Ultimate, but she's like a top 10 for sure character in Smash Ultimate. She's very, very good in that game.
Okay. Let's no, I'm going to hold that for me. Go, Evan, you got another Discord question?
Last one. How are you folks going to feel if the Tears of the Kingdom ends up being the same map structure and mechanics with very little change, but instead has 160 brand new shrines and new 900 Koroks?
No thanks.
That's not the game. So
no,
it's not all that. That's not the game. They already showed us. So
in a hypothetical world where that's a thing, I will have a lot of questions.
They added the floating islands. It's a lot more room for the shrines.
I will have a lot of. I'm sure people online will have a lot more questions than me based on some of the speculation and analysis videos I'm seeing now. But I imagine that's not a world we're going to end up. But we'll see in a month.
Yeah, if that was a reality, I would do only what I needed to do to progress, and I would do nothing more. I'm not much of a completionist, to be honest, so that's already not been a thing for me. But I would just keep my head down and just
however hearts, how many hearts you need to get the Master Sword, and then you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And okay, this is from Chris. Says the Mario movie was terrible. Went in with low expectations. Still disappointed. Don't get positive reception from fans. The critics were right.
Damn.
Whoa, if that's how you feel,
yep.
How you feel. I saw one critic. She was like, "Why is Mario wearing a cat suit?
Oh gosh.
When does he ever do that? Oh, this movie's terrible."
Hey, those are the Grace Randolph has a very bad reputation in the movie pundit industry. So
I've read some people.
I don't
it's not
think
like a Trisha kind of thing.
No, based on. I'm not going to talk ill of them. Okay. I'll just say, not a very informed take. Let's do that. Let's say that.
She has like every 2 years a clip goes super viral of her. I think she's just one of those people that like lives in a cave and comes out and watches a movie. It says it's bad. It goes back to the cave.
This is from Tijo, who says. To be fair, there's another song from Bowser's Fury that was similarly uncredited. Also, the Mario movie was overall a good time for me. Let's see. Hole says, thank you, MVG, for getting me into emulation. Or thank you, RGT, for getting me into emulation. Sorry, MVG.
No problem. I'm glad that I can help.
What?
Damn. Dude.
That's the swerve right there.
Disrespect. Wow.
That's a good swerve.
I have an emulation video going up tomorrow.
There it is.
What?
All right.
Yeah.
They're not
Sean. Well, I'll be critiquing that. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to be in the comments being like, actually, this is not true.
I kept it very simple.
I saw this video.
Did you
I was like,
steal
here are
any
the
more footage
options.
from
I don't.
MVG?
No, this is all my captured footage.
Just
I like
stole
that.
my
That's
footage
nice touch.
again.
That's nice touch. That's nice touch.
Captured from the MVG video.
He just said stolen from MVG is what he said. That was
I
great.
can't. You just Steve Harvey'd him.
T-Joe says, never forget the Vita memory cards that made the PS Vita prohibitively expensive. $400 with 30 gigabytes, which I believe is what ultimately killed the thing. Well, it didn't help. I'll tell you that.
It was a combination of things. It wasn't just that.
Gregorio says, audio does not match your mouth movement. That is correct.
Discord.
Luis says, shout out to Josie. Love the new SpawnCast inclusion. Also, when is Nintendo announcing their cinematic universe? Yeah. Hey, live action Zelda, what could go wrong?
No, stop, John.
They cast Tom Holland. Nothing.
Oh, there you go.
I want live action Metroid. Are you kidding me?
No,
Live
are
action
you
Metroid
kidding
would be
me?
good.
No.
What's wrong with that one in live
That's
action?
gonna be great.
What do you mean?
I'd rather have that for that one.
Come on,
Bro,
Yoshi's
Lara
Island. Let's
Croft-
go.
Lara
Yoshi's
Croft got
Island,
ripped apart
live
because she
action?
wasn't this, she wasn't that. She didn't sound like this. She didn't look like that. Her boobs were big. Bro, we don't need that discussion.
Samus doesn't got to
Samus
deal with that.
gets-
She's
It's gonna
wearing a power
happen
suit.
regardless. It's gonna happen
Bro,
regardless
no.
if it's
Yeah.
animated, if it's not
People are gonna be like,
animated.
she talks too much. She doesn't talk enough. She's too much emotion. She doesn't have enough emotion. Bro, it's already a thing within
But
the
people
game.
are doing that right now with the Mario movie. Where's my story at? No fucking Mario game has a story. They're complaining about having a fucking story.
We must
They're
make it
they're gonna-
animated.
they're gonna announce a Metroid movie, and then they're gonna cast Brie Larson, and everybody's gonna be mad and unhappy.
No!
And I'm gonna watch.
Better
it 6
not
times
do
in
that.
theater.
They better not do that.
Newtonian says PSVR 2 is only on website, no demos or hardware in store. We'll see when they get that in the stores. I don't know. Something tells me Sony needs to drop some games.
That's
on that thing.
disgusting. Do not ever put on a PSVR headset in the store. You got problems if you do that.
Savage says, I met Miss Click the other day, so glad I did. Glad you're back on Spawn Wave. Glad you guys are my connection to gaming with toddlers around. Haven't had much time to game anymore. Much love all.
Yep.
You meet.
Yep. I was grocery shopping with the baby, and it's like, yo, you're Miss Click. And I'm like, I'm Miss Click.
There you go. Okay, there it is.
Cool.
It was nice to meet you.
Shout out to Savage. And Saint says Josie N64 versus GameCube.
Oh no.
Didn't we already do this?
She answered this before, but
Yeah.
you know, they might be just double checking just to make sure.
GameCube, because I
There
think
it
the
is.
games hold up better.
My girl.
There it is. There it is.
That's the facts.
All right, I'm gonna stop holding off, and we're gonna move to the topic that's gonna get MVG and Sean in trouble.
Whoa. What
Sean's
do we
not here
do
right
now? What do we do?
Well, MVG's already banned off Reddit, so it doesn't really matter now.
Can I get in trouble?
We leaking DMs?
No,
be
Xbox
in
and
trouble.
Square Enix.
Oh.
I know, man. I got in trouble there. I had a guy who blocked me, responded to something that I said. I can't even see his response because he blocked me.
So
but he
there was-
responded to my comment.
So there was a lot of this really blew up online after Windows Central. Jez Corden wrote up an article about this, and there's still some information we're missing. I mean, there's a lot of information we're missing on this thing, but he essentially goes over the idea of Square Enix snubbing Xbox for Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, which we already knew it wasn't coming to Xbox because they already announced the two platforms. But I guess, hey, we got the release date. There's trailers. It's out in 9 days or 11 days, so it's relevant and in the news again. But it was mentioned in the article that there seems to be something strange going on between Microsoft and Square Enix, specifically with the functionality of their relationship. Something's wrong, as he says here, with Square Enix only been offering Xbox a very limited selection of titles from its catalog that includes Stranger's Paradise, Diofield Chronicle, which I think there are definitely people who on Xbox who didn't even know it came out on Xbox. I noticed that one as well. So it also wasn't marketed much. Despite Octopath Traveler launching on Xbox, even into Game Pass, the sequel is nowhere to be found and likely isn't coming. So Xbox, Square Enix, having a hard time here getting some of these games onto the platform. MVG made some comments on Twitter, got in trouble. Sean said some stuff about Xbox before.
Was I wrong?
I don't know. All I know is I
don't know.
You know
there's
what's
a lot
funny?
of Xbox haters on this podcast. That's
You know
all
what?
I know.
You know what's funny? Out of all of my retro systems, because this is what I'm keeping. Out of all of my retro systems, my Xbox pile is one of the biggest. I'm keeping more Xbox titles than I'm keeping NES titles. I'm keeping more Xbox titles than Super Nintendo titles, which is 0.
Throw one up, Sean. What do you got? Name it. Name.
Indigo Prophecy.
Good game.
Okay, keep going.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
There it is. All right, that's a good one. Like that. That's a great game on the on the GameCube. Go on, keep on.
Burnout 3. Burnout 3.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Good set.
50-cent Bulletproof. It's a guilty pleasure game.
Let's go.
Shenmue.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go. You hit it. Okay, good one there.
Just
All right,
some decent titles there, but I hate
understand.
Xbox.
I understand why people are upset, but this hyper focusing on Square Enix is dumb, and I think it's clouding people's minds because Square Enix is bigger. But Falcom, Koei Tecmo, Capcom, and many other companies skip Xbox on AA games or even pixelated RPGs. John, you pointed out the Mega Man Battle Network collection.
Yes.
Classic games isn't coming. Let's talk about the Atelier series. None of them AA RPG. Falcom, they released Legend of Heroes games that are classic games. Those aren't coming. Like the list goes on and on. Like it goes on and on. So it's really like MVG said, it's an ROI. It's a return on investment. They're looking at the sales of classic games. They're seeing that they're not selling this type of game, but maybe if a game has like better graphics, or if it's more of like polygonal 3D, like Crisis Core or like Deal Field or like Star Ocean, those games have a better opportunity to sell on Xbox. So those games come out on Xbox. But the stuff that's like more of the, hardcore Japanese type of titles or more of the pixelated games, or those games don't do as well. Microsoft provides no sales numbers. Okay. Square Enix, they provide no sales numbers for anything. We see how bad the Xbox sells in Japan. It's really just a business thing. It's not anything more than that. If there's an opportunity to sell, trust me, they will. Like Crisis Core came out, right? That was great. It was on the Xbox, and there's other games. Yeah, Star Ocean came out. That wasn't on the Switch. Star Ocean was on there. But like something like Neo 20, which is more stylized, that type of game probably isn't going to sell as well on Xbox. So they didn't release Neo 20 on Xbox. It's just a business thing. It's nothing more than that. Because if there's a big, I don't know, game that's not Sony doesn't poach, like let's say Final Fantasy 16, they're going to get that. But if it's another big RPG like Monster Hunter, right? Monster Hunter from Capcom, that's on Xbox, right? Final Fantasy 15 was on Xbox. So it's really going to be based off of if they feel the game's going to sell, right? It's not based off of they hate there's some type of thing against them or anything like that. Now, I'm privy to some sales numbers. I've seen some stuff. And from what I've seen, the Xbox sales in classic AA RPG is pathetic. It's very low compared to Nintendo, like Sony, and even PC. It's like really
pathetic,
low.
But
it's pathetically low.
Like
it's
in the hundreds or like in the tens of thousands. How low are we talking?
Depends on the game, but the classic games, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, those all came out on Xbox. Okay, those all came out, and there's no downloads. It's not selling anywhere near as well as what you would see on even PC or what you'd see on Nintendo or PlayStation. And once again, you got to look at it in Japan as well. Look at the Xbox Series sales in Japan, guys. They're atrocious. Like they're selling 1,000 units a week. There's no retail presence. It's not Square Enix is out to get them or something like that. It's not that at all.
The interesting thing is that Jezcord mentioned many times on Twitter through responses that it's an ROI issue that's kind of on Microsoft's side even. Like he's sort of alluding to the idea that there is quite a bit of fault even to put on Xbox when it comes to this.
It's not. It's just how it is. It's not Microsoft's fault. It's the fans that buy a certain type of game. It's like complaint. Like I've said this before with like certain big AAA third-party games and like Nintendo. People got mad at me for that. Even when I was saying it back around the 27. I'm like, listen, it's not going to get everything. The system itself, the fans who are buying things, some developers are going to opt not to spend the money to put their games on Switch. That's fine. Some developers are going to say, hey, that's a better business for us. It's all about, for the most part, the business and what they can do. It really is about that. I don't think it's Square Enix holding some type of grudge against them, or they would have never put Star Ocean and Dio Field and Crisis Core. Those are all recent games that all came to Xbox Run and look great on Xbox. So,
well, I'm still confused about stuff like I really got addicted to Final Fantasy Theatrhythm Curtain Call. It's like a stupid rhythm game, but it's really fun.
It's good. It's good.
And it only came to Switch and PS4. It never came to anything else. And something like this, it's pretty much moving backgrounds with tempo beats. I mean, it's hard to even call it a game. I mean, I feel like this was run on cell phones, but it's not on cell phones. And it seems weird. The question I have for MVG, because I saw MVG really in the replies of his tweet talking about that, like, if it's not going to make the money back, they're not going to do it. How expensive something like these games, MVG, like these super retro, I mean, this seems like it would cost nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really talk about all scenarios, but like I can talk about my experiences with Xbox. And look, I think doing the Pixel remaster is probably about a 6-month job to get an Xbox version up and running. It's not a mammoth task because I mean they're very small games. I mean, but I think even that alone, I mean, realistically, how many copies do you think would be sold on the Xbox of the Pixel remaster series? I think it would be pretty low, right? Like
double digits.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't speculate, but like
I can give you some sales info, MVG, because we really don't. You're right. We really don't have a lot. We did get one, and that was kind of came from the Capcom leak. So it technically stole information that was put out there by websites. So if I read it from a website, whatever. But it's the information came for the Ace Attorney trilogy, which you remember they had a follow up to that, and it didn't go to Xbox. And people were wondering why. Well, the sales figures: Switch 462,000 units, PC 245,000, PS4 103,000. The Xbox was 4,800 units.
Yeah, I mean that sounds about right. Look, at the end of the day, OJ mentioned it. I tweeted about it the other day as well. There is, even though it's Square Enix and they have a lot of money, people say, well, they can afford that. There should be no reason why they can't do an Xbox version. Look, these big corporations, they never want to lose, ever. Like if they lose, if your cost center is losing money, then your cost center will be eliminated and replaced with someone that can actually turn a profit. So look, I think that's the underlying reason here why they just passed on an Xbox version. They felt like it wasn't really going to make them money with that particular version, whereas a Switch version and a PS4 version, especially with the digital with the physical collector's editions that are out as well, it's going to turn a profit. A lot of people want to play those. I mean, I know some of us have pre-ordered the game. I want to say we've all pre-ordered the Switch version, right?
I got the special edition. I got the Switch version.
I mean, it says it all right there. Everyone's jumping on the Switch version. Some people are going to get the PS4 version.
I'm going to pick out a couple on the PS4 because I want to get 6 and I want to get 4. But I'll get them digitally separate.
Yeah. So look, the thing that Jez said about the ROI problem is on Microsoft's side. I don't really know what he's alluding to there, but one thing I will say is Microsoft and Xbox have to figure out a way to make these games desirable on their platform again and actually have people invested in their ecosystem and purchase these games.
That's a lot of time and money. Sometimes it's more money to try to convince people to try something new.
I just think it's the type of people that like to play.
Yeah.
They don't Xbox, the way that they built the foundation of what Xbox is about. That's who you're going to attract, right? The foundation of Xbox is online, is multiplayer, is shooter, is Game Pass. That's the foundation. These type of games aren't going to appeal to people who like that base foundation. Listen, Microsoft has went all out in RPGs. And how many of those survived? Where's Blue Dragon? Where's Lost
Odyssey?
They spent a lot of money. And that the result was 2 sequels on the Nintendo DS for for Blue Dragon, and Lost Odyssey was killed. It was never brought. So they tried it, and with high budget, super high quality RPGs, and it didn't work. Now
games are good,
and they're very good. I love those two. And they tried it with lots of. They did Star Ocean. They invested into Star Ocean. They invested into Eternal Sonata. They invested into all these different things, and it didn't work. So if those aren't working, why are they? It's not on Microsoft. They tried. It's just the fans. It's just what the fans play and what they buy. A lot of people listen. Persona Game Pass, right? It went to Game Pass. Was it at the top of the charts? Were all the it wasn't. Persona 3, 4. These are some of the greatest RPGs of all time. And people were like, okay. And how's the sales for those? Like, are people buying them off the Game Pass? I don't think so. Most of the sales are from PlayStation and Switch with the Persona games. So it's just, guys, let's just.
It's numbers. I mean, the numbers
be honest
speak for themselves.
About it. Yeah, let's be honest about it. That's all.
That's what I'm most curious about. Sorry to cut you off, John. I think I'm most curious about the Game Pass problem is what I call it. Because in my comment section, I've been talking about the fact that games have not been coming. I love Square Enix stuff a lot. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. I wish this stuff was coming to Xbox because I want more people to play it. Do you think that it does feel like people wait for stuff to come to Game Pass more and more, especially indie stuff? Do you think if that Microsoft footed the bill for porting Pixel Remaster and put that on Game Pass, do you think anybody would even play it?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, some
I mean,
would. Yeah, some.
Few.
We can't even be sure if that scenario didn't actually happen. Like maybe Microsoft has tried to negotiate a deal and get it either on Game Pass or on Xbox, and Square Enix just turned around and said, we don't really want to do it. I mean, we don't really know if there were those things happening, but look, I think, not every game belongs on Game Pass, right? Like, everything doesn't have to be there. And, Square Enix are probably thinking to themselves, well, we don't really feel like this game belongs on Game Pass, at least not in the beginning. Is it something potentially that could get there later on? Maybe, but I think, like I said, not everything needs to come out on the Xbox if there's no good ROI that the publisher thinks they're going to make on the game.
Square Enix is also kind of crazy, John. They're kind of crazy with the Final Fantasy games. Are they not?
We kind of know that. Yeah,
they're kind of nuts with they're really kind of nuts with those games. So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I mean, I was gonna say the Pixel remasters is an interesting situation because they're technically all separate products and they're sold as a bundle. So they could actually say, hey, we're gonna put 1 through 3 on Game Pass, and 4, 5, and 6 will just be separate. You have to buy them. It seems like there are avenues that if Microsoft wanted to make it happen, they could. And maybe that's what the ROI thing that Jez is referring to on Xbox side, where they're just like, is it even worth us doing this?
Bro, I'm telling you, if Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, if all of those did really well on Xbox, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I 100% guarantee you. If those did well, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It would be Pixel Remasters on there.
Here's the real question: is Josie going to play any of these Final Fantasies, and if so, which one does she play first?
Crisis Core looked cool.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
And Final Fantasy VII Remake looked cool.
Also good.
Once I eventually get the PS5, I'll be going through them.
Okay. Well, we have the Pixel remasters coming up. Those are from a long time ago, but they're for the most part across the board good games. But there's some standouts. You could go to 3 or 6 or 4. Those are all good.
I
5
heard really good things about 7 Remastered, so that's why I'm
7 Remastered is really good.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You haven't played 7 yet.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't played any of them.
Well,
I've heard of all of them.
Okay.
I know about them, but
okay.
I'll
Perfect.
sorry,
I'm
chat.
super obsessed.
No, this is
with the
good. This is
series.
good.
Play the 7 remake and then Crisis Core, and then if you're wanting more story, play the original, the remastered version of FF7 because it's great. But I think going into it knowing the characters and kind of already being emotionally invested actually heightens.
You can play the Switch version on like 3 times the speed.
Yeah,
Josie,
you can.
so you can just breeze through it and just kind of almost button mash.
Yeah. Don't even read what they say. Just go.
I'm gonna give you a suggestion. I think doing a review of Final Fantasy VII would be really good.
I agree. I think
your perspective on that, because we all remember it from like the PS1 glory days. I'd be real interested to see what someone thinks about it now for the first time.
I will retweet.
I think that'd be really interesting.
Well, especially if you called it something like playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time in 2023, I'd watch the shit out of that video.
Yeah, I'd definitely watch.
I wouldn't. A modern take on old junk.
Sean loves Final Fantasy VII. Don't listen to Sean. He loves that game.
I wouldn't watch it.
He loves that game. He'd watch it. There'd definitely be a lot more controversy or comments though if it Super Metroid doing that, but that'd be good. I don't know. I think that's a good entry point there. Just go for 7. It's even on the Switch. You can play through it. It's on the Switch.
It's on everything.
I think it's like it might even be on sale right now actually, because I think Square was having a sale and I feel like it was
$10. Oh really?
I think it's like $10.
Snag it, then I didn't know it was on Switch.
Yeah, FF7, it's on everything.
Yeah, they have, because the Pixel remasters are going to make it so that Final Fantasy 1 through 12.
Except for 11, but yeah.
Or 11's MMO, but like up all the way through 12 is all available on the Switch.
Okay, I'll literally get it right now.
Yeah, 7's a good one to go with. See what you think. I'm curious. And then after 7, you can play Crisis Core because that links to it.
Crisis Core is fantastic, very good.
That's what I've heard. That's why I was looking at that one.
It's pretty good. It's not fantastic. It's pretty good. It's pretty
what? Crisis Core is not fantastic.
That's fine. I gotta give it a name.
I played and beat it. I thought it was good. I wouldn't say it's fantastic.
You could tell it was a mobile game originally, right? On the PSP.
Yeah, that was a PSP.
You could tell.
Game, yeah.
You could tell it was a PSP game originally. I
really like the remaster. I thought the PSP game was just good. But I thought the remaster was.
Well, the remaster solved a lot.
It was incredible. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean I platinumed the remaster. I thought it was the new combat completely remakes the game.
Yeah, it feels so much better to play. I played the PS5, beat the PS5 version, played the Switch version portably. I thought it was great.
Josie, if you love the original FF7, when you beat it, do FF9 next, because FF9 is also a badass. I'm just gonna fill up your to-do list.
I'll DM you guys after so I can get like a list.
Yeah.
That's like the hardcore Final Fantasy fans, like best Final Fantasies. Like it's like
you guys
it's
are
like
gonna do to Josie what you did to me with Resident Evil.
And
you're
then
gonna
start
also
Resident
want me
Evil
to
play
2
that
remake.
one.
You're gonna bombard her with information, then you're argue about which
And I
one
don't
to play
feel
in which
bad.
order, and then
Hey,
she's
she's
gonna
getting
be
a
like,
PS5 and she's playing Final Fantasy VII Remake after the original.
I don't
okay?
feel bad about doing that to you either, Click, because you needed to hear it. It was important.
Yeah,
you know
Metal.
what I
Hey,
did? I stuck my head in
you
my
better
shell
hope-
and I didn't touch
you
another
better
one.
hope
after
those
two.
Metal Gear Solid remasters don't show up at well, it was going to be 3-click Summer Game Fest.
Rest in peace.
Okay, if those Metal Gear Solid remasters show up.
I
playing them.
hope so. Shit.
This is. Let me go through. We still have some super chats left here, and then Sean does have an after show. He's going to fight through the almonds. Okay.
Do something.
He's going to hold it up for a little bit, as long as he can.
Yeah, I'll run for a little bit.
Okay, cool. Tijo says, when you brought up Mario making more than Lion King, OJ, did you mean the live action one or the 94 original?
I think it's the animated film. So the animated one from the 94 for that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Technically, they're both animated, but yeah.
Well, I meant like cartoon animated.
The good
like,
one.
My bad. I was
cartoon
saying-
one.
yeah, not the.
Joel says movie was a good 6 out of 10. Sly says Sony is afraid of Microsoft making a broken port of COD for PlayStation while at the same time releasing broken ports of one of their biggest IPs. I didn't even touch on the Activision Blizzard stuff. I think this thing's done, and I feel like we're just kind of waiting for that final go ahead at the end of this month into May. So I feel like that's where we are. Sony's just going to keep saying some wild stuff, just hoping.
I made a video laughing about that because Sony is throwing out so many ridiculous accusations.
They just keep doing it.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan, lying, crying, Jim Ryan.
Yeah, crying Jim Ryan, man.
Got a lot of catchphrases for him. Ruffle says, I bet they're going to be an uncut version of the movie. I think we're going to have a lot of deleted scenes on that Blu-ray. Jazzman says, love y'all. SpawnCast episode 420, $420.69. Thanks, Jasmine. Scarlett, shout out to Scarlett once again. Mac Mega says, wish they would have touched bases on Mario's Bros origin story in the movie. They're just super and give no reason whatsoever. They were moving so fast through that movie. I wouldn't mind seeing some more info about some of the backstories.
The movie they weren't. No, they clearly explained that
some dude.
The power ups is what makes them.
Oh, that yeah.
Yeah,
but
they
like some
explained
of the origins around the characters, maybe those are deleted scenes that are on the Blu-ray.
You know what I miss? It kind of reminds me of like a Bug's Life and stuff and Toy Story or whatever, like bloopers, the animated bloopers. I really wish they'd do that. I think that'd be really funny.
Yeah.
This one's from John O. Shout out to John O with the big super chat. Saying good to see Click back and the full crew minus Nate. Hope my favorite Nintendo YouTuber is feeling well. He's hanging in there.
I'm alive.
He's alive. Love the emulator
now.
info. MBG thought Jordan was going to be silent, but guess he's taking over again. JK, love y'all and hope you all have a great evening. Also, shout out to John O. Did send that the last week's donation over to Josie. I got that over to her yesterday. So well on the way to the PS5. Okay, we're making headway.
We'll get there.
Yeah, got people check out Josie when she streams. She's been streaming a couple times this past week, right? Yeah, people need to check her out when she's streaming. She's playing Breath of the Wild, and hey, soon gonna be playing Final Fantasy 7 apparently. So there you go.
Yeah.
I spoke to a student said, "What? That's a good game."
So good.
Come on.
So
Ending.
to anyone who has seen the movie, did watching it make you want to go back and play one of the games? If so, which one? I kind of want to play Galaxy.
I wanted to play Mario 3.
Mario 3? Okay.
Yeah, I played the e-reader levels after when I got back. I was like, let me just check out these e-readers. I just played them and they kicked my ass. I'm terrible. I need to get better at the classic games.
Those were tough. I was trying to play those on the treadmill and I actually couldn't. They took too much focus.
Yeah, no. So I played some of the e-reader stuff. It was dope though. I want them to do another one so we can see some of the different suits like from like Mario 3. I think that'd be super cool if there's like a swimming scene with like Frog Mario. That'd be dope.
Hellman says Captain Lou and Danny will always be the voice of Mario and Luigi for us old heads.
I just did a video on that on the Super Show.
Let's go.
Mac Mega says, do you think the PS5 Slim will be backwards compatible with PS4 games? Usually revision of Sony systems cut back on it a bit. I don't know, MVG. Think that detachable disk drive going to end it all?
Yeah. No way for that to come out.
He says, is the brunette from New Donk City in the movie?
Yeah. You gotta watch it.
Spoiler alert.
No, it's
Spoiler.
Yeah. Jenna says, I saw the Super Mario movie at Universal Studios. The Mario Kart ride was not that great at Super Nintendo World. The Toadstool Cafe was great. There you go. I still have not gone to it. CJ says, what upcoming games in the first half of this year is everyone looking forward to the most? I feel like most people are about to say Zelda, but I will instead choose Jedi Survivor, which is out in 3 weeks.
Also true.
Zelda.
Let's go.
Zelda. Yeah, I knew Zelda was going to be the name of it, yeah.
Both.
Is June part of first half? Can I say Final Fantasy 16?
June is. Yeah, there you go.
I think I am more excited for Final Fantasy 16 than I feel like I've been excited for a game in a long time. I think that game is going to be really, really groundbreaking.
I'm excited for it too. I feel like if you asked me that in like May after Zelda comes out, I'd be like, yep, Final Fantasy. That's the next one. I'm excited. There's some recency bias with me. That's why I'm like, Jedi Survivor. It's right there. Ready to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nexus says, just got my Platinum Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, collections were a nightmare. Yeah, they did pile a lot of those up on you towards the end. Still have some more super chats here. I want to check Streamlabs as well. Let me start going around here as we finish up. Let's start with returning Miss Click. Click, do you want to let everyone know where I can find you? Any future plans or anything? I know it's hard to put any kind of timeline in place here. But.
Yeah, no. I'll be back to streaming. I was hanging out with my Patreon earlier today and talking about we'll be getting back to a schedule, but I'll probably be like 3 days a week for a little bit. I unfortunately have a very cuddly baby, but it makes it very difficult to just let her do her own thing. So it's good to be back. It's been a crazy 6 months, but we're here. So when I am back and live, you'll be able to find me at twitch.tv/missclick_live, or you can find me on YouTube as Missclick Gaming. You can check out that Mario panel. It's there, and I love it. And to be honest, I feel like you should go listen to them because they have a lot of words of wisdom, and Mario's relevant right now, so why not? Other than that, you can check me out on Twitter, Instagram. It's just Missclick. So good to be back.
Let's go over to Jordan Fringe.
Hi, I'm Jordan Fringe. I talk a lot or I don't. Either way, I have a channel. It's my name. It's Jordan Fringe. I talk about animations, games, cartoons, Mario. Go check it out if you want. If not, I understand.
Joe says, I recently got an OG Xbox, Halo 2, and Jet Set Radio Future. Any other games I should get? Jade Empire. I'll go with that one. Jade Empire.
KOTOR.
There you go. KOTOR it is.
Jade Empire.
Oh, Panzer.
Ooh,
that's
yeah.
okay,
that's a good one. Yeah.
16-bit Retro says, what's your favorite anime? Got to go with Dragon Ball.
Recently, I think Dragon Ball because of how long it is. But if we're talking like just short and sweet, I'm obsessed with Cowboy Bebop. I think that's got to be one of the shortest, most perfect.
That is a Dreamcast guy anime.
It technically doesn't end there, but it's good that they did. Yeah, Gun X Sword, because similar thing. It ends. It's done.
Okay.
And it's just
there
great.
No, short, sweet, to the point for me. It's got to be only season 1 of One Punch Man.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm basic when it comes to Death Note. I love Death Note unabashedly from the manga to the anime. I love it.
You like the live action that Netflix dropped?
No, we don't talk about that. Willem Dafoe, great casting. Other than that,
it was good casting.
But I want to say,
confused too.
From an aesthetic point of view, something with from the theme song to the look to the outfits and styles and how fresh it was. Yu Yu Hakusho is such a good show. Such a good show.
Such a 90s like infused like
the fashion.
Yeah, the fashion.
The different outfits. It's so unique and so stylish. I love that.
I love how Tenkaichi 4 got announced, right? The new one, and MVG was basically his message was, "What's going on?" Because I'm just thinking about that now with this conversation going on, and Sean's probably upside down right now. Who knows?
Just lost on me, man.
I'm so basic. I like Naruto a lot, so that's my favorite.
OJ, during my time away, I've been watching Naruto. I'm like, I just got to the war.
You can watch like the last 10 episodes. One of them's a full season, like a full recap of the whole story, and then you're just done.
I like that, but I'm a huge fan of Hunter x Hunter. That's probably like neck and neck with Naruto. Hunter x Hunter is incredible. It's so good.
Can we give Boruto some props now?
No.
Yes, we can. No, I caught up.
Do you see what just happened? That was good. Incredible. It was worth the build up. Okay.
Yes, it was slow.
That was.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but look, I was a Boruto hater, and I like it now. It's good. It's good.
I think it sounds like a great topic for Sean's after show. All right, we're gonna go through some of these super chats here as we finish
Let's
up.
talk about raisins.
Bryson says, "Happy Easter, SpawnCast." Thank you, Bryson.
Happy Easter.
Andrew says, "Shop 412, copyrighted 412, then tried to sue Pitt." Enrique says, "How did SpawnCast start and everyone meet? Curious about the lore." We got us a few times. Evan and I knew each other from way back in the day at a store where we repaired and sold video games and consoles and stuff, and then it kind of went from there and just slowly brought people on. So
pull these guys off the streets. Don't listen to him.
I'm trapped here against my will.
I was at 40,000 subscribers when Spawnwave was at 30, and he was like, "Come on my show," and I just kept coming on, and so it's crazy now. You're like getting close to 1 million.
Bro, John and I were on a different podcast together, and John poached me.
John told me, he was like, "Man, there's a lot of white people here. Let me go ahead and let me add a brother." You know,
we did have to spice it up.
John was like, "Damn,
this was all very vanilla." And,
I was gonna say, this like
Mayo is
about to have some complaints. Bringing in Josie now. It's about damn. We're gonna have some complaints here.
I'm not in danger.
J2 Blue says, "Welcome back, Miss Click. What were your thoughts on the gameplay from Tears of the Kingdom?"
Still haven't seen it actually. You know, a kid and everything. No, I've kind of been waiting to even like sit down and record. It's just kind of one of those things. Like I really don't have much time for myself. So the only thing I've really had time for any future questions is literally been me with the baby napping, rotating between dad taking care of her, and then when she's finally asleep, grinding WoW. That's been it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
MTS said, play through the PS5 patch of Fallen Order. It was rough. Last 2 hours had terrible audio desync and it stuttered a lot. Hey, that's why we got Jedi Survivor coming. We can hopefully get Respawn's better funded projects, what I'll say. Banana says, Miss Click calling Diablo a MOBA like is sacrilegious, and I will do the low tier God lightning on myself.
I'm sorry. Don't do anything to yourself. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to play with controller. I don't know.
Lee S, is the Sony Z9K TV good for gaming on the PS5? I would like to know more about that TV before I recommend it, Lee. I just know the ones that we know now, which are the LG. So I'm curious though, the Z9K. I might look into that just because I might need another TV soon.
The little tiny bit I've read is that those things are overpriced for the quality. They're way too.
I've noticed. I don't pay attention to TVs unless I need to buy a TV soon, and then I'm like, let me start paying attention to TVs again, and that's kind of it.
Isn't that funny how it works? Because like you normally just like walk. Like if I'm in Costco, I walk past so many things, and when I need it, I'm like, wait, this section's been here for how long? No one? It's just me? Okay.
Yeah.
What? Andy says, Josie and Dreamcast guy shop for some LEDs together. Oh, for the backgrounds. Got it. Cheat codes are for losers. I like cheat codes. Big L microtransactions in a game like tattoos on a girl, red flag, next, and then, I don't know, just trails off. It keeps going. Thanks, Andy. Yum says, imagine Emma Watson will play Samus.
That'd be phenomenal.
That'd be cool.
I disagree, but this is what I'm talking about.
Hey, it sounds like some really good after show talk. Crow says, I wonder if anyone will attempt a video game on stage musical. I know they have Persona 3 to 5 in Japan, but a video game musical in the West would be cool. Tommy says, personally, I blame the undeserved praise of HBO's The Last of Us for why critics are stingy towards the Mario movie.
The undeserved praise.
Wow, that's a good show.
Completely different things. Completely different.
Evan says, thoughts on game reveals years before we get the game. I've been looking forward to Dragon Quest 12, but hard to stay hyped with no news for so long. The title card one is what always gets me. It's exciting to know, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's still a thing. But
I wish they would show it a year before it's ready, and then we get a bunch of reveals. Because I've been thinking about how weird it is that we have pretty much a leaked release date for Spider-Man 2, but zero gameplay. That game is maybe coming out in 3 months, and we have literally 0 seconds of gameplay. So I want something between title card 5 years out and flooded with gameplay. We need to find that happy medium.
Max, where can everyone find you?
I am youtube.com/dreamcastguy. I'm working on a big secret review right now. If you saw what this is, you'd probably not freak out too much, but I promise it's a good game. So go subscribe to my channel.
Okay, there you go.
You are youtube.com.
Let me go over to Josie. Where can I find you?
Find me on YouTube at Josie Will. I talk about the Nintendo Switch.
There you go.
Woo.
And
There
Super
you go.
Metroid.
Super Metroid.
And
Good
Super
video, though.
Metroid.
Go
which
check
is
it out.
Final
playable on the
Fantasy at
Nintendo
some
Switch.
point.
We got a link down in the description with everyone else. Make sure you check her out there. MVG, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Twitter at Modern Vintage G and YouTube Modern Vintage Game. I have a video coming out on Monday and hopefully Nate the Hate next week. Thanks for having
Oh
me.
yeah, we do need Nate the Hate to come back.
Whoa.
Light says, would Mario's parents be considered Super Mario makers? There you go. I like it. I like it.
That was
What is-
good.
Bob Wolfden joke.
what is your opinion on old Microsoft RPGs like Age of Empires, Age of Mythology? Would like to see another game in Black and White series. That was a time long past. I'll tell you that. Oof, man, those are the days. I'd like to see another one. Sure. Let's see. Let's go to OJ. Where can everyone find you?
Hey, find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. Got some cool videos coming up about RPGs. I also stream daily. So yeah, check out the channel. Appreciate you guys.
Omar says, thinking about the Fire Emblem 3 House suggestion from earlier, I'd like to see that done on HBO with the pacing of the first few seasons of Game of Thrones. Strawman said, oh, there's a cue for Jordan quickly. Video review of Spyro show when?
This Spyro show, you talk about like if you talk about the Skylanders show with Spyro, already have. If you're talking about reviewing Spyro the games, I did it on my game channel. There's an hour-long video over there. Keep up. Where have you been? All right, that was last year I did that. Where are you at?
Truly Epic says, anyone picking up those new deluxe arcade one-ups? Sean, are you picking it up and where can they find you?
You can find me on RGT85, and no, they're a waste of money. They need to release new games and better games.
I feel like there was a video on that could explain why.
Ruffle says, nice to see Iwata in the credits of the movie. Yes, that was nice. Nice moment to see that there. And T-Joe says, you guys getting the Xenoblade soundtrack sets they announced. There's a set with all 3 game soundtracks, including expansions, except for one where only definitive edition tracks are included.
Pre-ordered.
Rolling with the crew.
Nope.
Evan, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube at Kimmerix Project. We just finished up a pretty hefty sized painting project over on Twitch. Took a couple weeks, and we're gonna start up on a new one coming up. But yeah, tons of stuff coming out, tons of fun stuff. You can check me out there.
And just double check Streamlabs. There's 2 or 3. Yuck says, good show as always. Let's see. And then Next Gen says, here we go. Hey friends, I hope everyone is doing well today. Thinking about the gaming industry today, imagine if movies came out without the special effects finished or a music album missing instruments. It's a shame that gaming gets away with these practices today. They can patch it later. Or
movies have had patches recently. It's weird.
Have the community fix
Pawn
it, right?
shot
Isn't that
first.
It? Homebrew community?
Cats.
Homebrew community can fix it. Then Jen says, newswave.com when? Oh, you never know. Never know
when it's not a money sink.
JJ says, hey, SpawnCast, have you all read the Super Mario Adventures comics for Nintendo Power? It also adds on to the point that Peach has been awesome for years. Have a good one. I have not read those.
There's several different comics, a lot of just manga in Japan that depicted Peach being a badass way before this was even thought to be a discussion. So
then Jen asks, for everyone in the cast that edits their content, what tips can you give to keep yourself focused and efficient when editing videos? Just want to hear y'all perspective on the task. I love procrastination.
Adderall.
Something on the
Higher
side screen
Pokemon.
and crushing depression.
For me, breaks, I think I'll edit audio, edit green screen, and then edit gameplay, doing it as 3 separate passes.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
And take a break. I definitely
Sounds a way to quit to me.
Watch
What's
it
a
with
break?
fresh eyes. I think if you make a mistake in your editing, sometimes you can't see it till you step away. So sometimes I'll
That's
literally.
true.
That's
take
why
a lunch
Sean
break.
leaves them all in. He's a hard worker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever see the times where Sean's making a video and he's just like, "We're gonna do this," and then he sits there for a second and starts talking again? It's because he doesn't. He's like not taking his proper breaks.
Banana says, all the SpawnCast missing is a Puerto Rican. I do it, but I have a face for radio and opinions for the underbelly of the internet. Thank you.
I got a radio face too, brother. It's all right.
Thanks to everyone for joining us tonight on the SpawnCast. We are going to, Sean's going to have his after show going. I'm going to go over there because I need to finish editing a thumbnail. But we'll continue on over there. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you guys then.
Kill them all. I'm gonna
Challenge
kill them.
authority.